Zo, hele goede avond dames en heren. Welkom bij deze finale van het DCA League of Legends Ultimate Tournament 2020. Gisteren hebben we natuurlijk de halve finales gekeken. Daarin bleken DCT en TCA Link de winnaars. Die zien we nu terug in de finale. Maar voordat we daaraan gaan beginnen, ga ik me eerst even voorstellen. Ik ben Pepijn de Peppy. Ik cast hier al het hele toernooi, dus mij ben je misschien al gewend te zien. Maar deze keer heb ik met mij meegenomen Maxime Mordax. De support van DCA Orange en de coach van DCA Red. Allebei helaas uitgeschakeld, maar hij is er nog steeds. Hij is hier met mij om deze games te casten. Maxime, hoe gaat het ermee?
Goed, goed. Ik ben benieuwd hoe het toernooi gaat verlopen. En ja, ik ben benieuwd wie er gaat winnen, laten we het zo zeggen.
Oké, ik ga het gewoon
Al mijn
gelijk...
favoriete teams zijn weg, inderdaad. Dus ik ben vrij indifferent op dit moment.
Yes. Oké, nou ik gooi gelijk de vraag. Wie denk je dat gaat winnen?
Ik denk DCT en ik hoop DCT. Misschien. Want als DCT wint, is het minder erg voor DCA Red om verloren te zijn. Dat is hoe het werkt. Dus, maar ik denk ook dat DCT een iets betere macro heeft. En dat DCA daar nog aan kan werken. Dus ik denk dat dat de beslissende factor zal zijn.
Interessant. Denk je dat het een 3-0 wordt? Gaan we misschien een 3-1 zien? Allebei de series gisteren natuurlijk op de 3-1.
Ik denk een 3-1.
3-1.
Voor, ja, deze.
Oké. Want TCA Link gisteren een series tegen de Zephyr Demon wist uiteindelijk te winnen. Wat op zich een soort van verrassend was. Zeker als je naar de seeding kijkt. Zephyr Demon die de tweede seed was, de TCA vijfde seed. Dus de upsets is er al geweest. Heeft de TCA überhaupt een kans, denk je, om hier de overwinning naar Tilburg te slepen?
Denk het wel. Ik denk als ze of met Apex gaan spelen, dat ze wel kans maken om eigenlijk DCT een beetje, omdat zij volgens het boekje spelen, als zij juist alleen gaan fighten en hun juist gaan surprisen met shit, dat ze dan wel kunnen winnen. Ik denk dat dat de way is voor hun om te winnen. En ik hoop, als ze zo gaan spelen, dat het probably niet mogelijk is.
Oké, interessant. Dus we verwachten wat spicy picks aan de kant van,
ik hoop het.
Van TCA Link. Eens even kijken. Er wordt zometeen gekozen voor pro-draft, zie ik. Dus daar gaan we zo meteen heen hoppen.
No. Geen pro-draft. No.
Onze fancy overlay werkt er niet voor. Maar hey, dat maakt niet uit. Pro-draft is zelf een redelijk fancy overlay. Ja, goed. Je speelde support, gaf ik al aan eerder. Dus je hebt ook als support tegen DCT gespeeld in de kwartfinale.
Ja, klopt.
En we zagen ook dat in de halve finale DCT, zeker na game 1, dus game 2, 3 en 4, behoorlijk veel door die botlane heen speelde. Wat is jouw indruk van jullie en Funny Splee? Zijn die een beetje goed?
Ze zijn oké, maar ik had er meer van verwacht, laten we het zo zeggen. Dus ik denk dat ze nog een beetje hun weg in de meta moeten vinden. En daar nog aan moeten werken, want vooral die support is heel concentrated op 2 champs. En als je die uit bent, dan moet hij heel snel off zijn champion pool gaan. Dus dat vind ik het zwakke punt aan de botlane, want die speelt enkel Rakan en Thresh. Maar voor de rest...
Oké. We zagen gisteren ook de...
Ze spelen wel clean, ze maken heel weinig fouten.
Oké, nou, solid performance is altijd nice om te hebben. We zagen gisteren ook de Amumu. Is dat een ding dat we nog gaan zien? Amumu support misschien zelfs? Of was dat een beetje trollachtige...
Ik hoop dat we die niet nog eens zien, maar dat zou kunnen. Dus,
we zijn inmiddels... Ja, oké. Nou goed, we gaan het zien. En we zijn inmiddels in Champ Select. We zien gelijk de bands Massey en Volleybeer van de kant van Dutch Community Team. En TSCA Link met de Swain. En het lijkt erop dat de tweede de Pantheon is aan het worden is. Wat zijn je indrukken daarvan?
Mastery vind ik questionable. Maar de Swain Pantheon snap ik wel tegen DCT, want ze zijn heel bekend om die botlane te spelen. Hun ADC speelt heel vaak Swain bot. En hij carryt er ook mee, dus die band snap ik wel. En Pantheon is gewoon overal heel sterk door het moment, door de buffs op zijn Q en zijn E. Is die heel oppressive geworden. De andere kant bands, DCT's, zijn een beetje denk ik targeted bands richting de midlane en jungle. Maar het zijn niet per se de beste bands.
Oké. Nou goed, we gaan zien. Ik denk dat Master Yi ook een target bij misschien is tegen Master Yeez, de jungler van TSCA Link. Die klinkt redelijk bekend, redelijk overeen met Master Yi. Dus ja. We zien hier gelijk de Jhin lock in.
Ja, de Jhin. Jhin is op het moment minder sterk als hij vroeger was. Maar met Gale Force begint dat ook wel terug zijn weg into the game te vinden.
Interessant. Dash Jin, zoals hij gisteren door Koen werd genoemd. Dus we gaan kijken.
Ja.
Aan de andere kant, Ezreal pick-up. Ezreal momenteel met Divine Sunderer redelijk goed in het veilig veel damage doen. Dus ook op zich een logische pick. En de Ornn, nadat de Shen weggeband is, wordt opgepakt. Verwachten we hier een wet noodle toplane te zien? Of gaan we daadwerkelijk een beetje meer carry-oriented zien tegen de Ornn?
Ja, dat is een goede vraag. Ik ben wel tevreden met de Shen-ban, want DCT staat erom bekend om hun Shen Olaf te runnen. En gewoon echt de backline te destroyen. Dus die target ban is zeker goed, want in heel de Benelux is het wel, is het wel een ding om Shen te pikken.
Ja. Nou goed, we zagen het gisteren ook van Demortius natuurlijk, die de eerste ban Shen kreeg en daarna de eerste game. En daarna niet meer op Shen mocht zitten, was veel te goed. We zien een Mordekaiser lock-in. Toch wel een beetje carry-oriented pick tegen die Ornn. Ornn is iets makkelijker met... hier even iets makkelijker tegen... excuus. We krijgen inmiddels de vraag of we naar het Engels willen overschakelen. Ja.
Ik weet niet wat jij ervan denkt.
Ja, ik vind het prima als jij het oké vindt te doen. Als je het niet oké vindt.
Oké, let's go. Yeah, okay.
Sure. So we will be casting from English, in English from now.
Okay.
Thresh and Bard locked in, meaning that both AD carry supports and top laners have been locked in. Our bans are going to be targeted towards jungle and mid lane then in that case.
Okay, the Silas ban.
Silas,
yeah. The mid lane of DCT is known to be playing Silas and another champ, mostly Silas.
Zorka also made a name for herself yesterday on Yone, of course.
Yeah, exactly. So probably the next ban from TCA would be the Yone. Due to the fact that they already have a Mordekaiser, so AP damage. So let's see.
And where TCA Link is targeting the mid lane from Dutch community team seems to be targeting the jungle from TCA Link with their ban of the Graves. The response on from TCA is looking like it might be Olaf.
Okay, the Olaf. As I said, they like to take run at you comps, so the Olaf is not very surprising.
Interesting.
Say it that way.
So now already looking at the composition from TCA Link, right, with the Ezreal and the Bard, that already screams to me like they're going to want to have a very dynamic early game. Ezreal is really good at sitting back, and Bard is going to really start roaming away from that lane as the last ban comes in as being a Remus.
Exactly.
So what picks are we going to see to facilitate that playstyle?
I hope really carry mid lane, so Bard can roam to the mid lane and get a fed maybe a fed Azir or Victor or something like that, so he can carry 1v9. And the Hecarim, Hecarim is always fine. So yeah, it would mostly be sitting mid and carry via a fed, whatever they pick. So I think it will be a mage with very strong scaling.
Something like Orianna maybe? Could work really well with the Hecarim and the Bard and whatever.
Yeah, it could work with the Hecarim though, but I don't think Orianna is well enough to carry on her own.
Okay. And we do see the Yone lock-in along with the Nunu. Interesting lock-ins as well. Nunu was played yesterday by Shaman K as well. Was very, very destructive in the early game with the biggest snowball ever. Roaming all over the place, getting picks, and I think he was 3-0 by like 5 minutes. So
exactly. He just went bot straight to mid and then into red buff. So insane player.
Yeah. So definitely a comfort pick as well. So we already mentioned it. The Yone against the Nico now. Is that something you were expecting? Is that something logical?
Not at all. I don't see it really fit into this comp. It's a little bit troll to be honest, but okay.
Interesting.
I don't know why you would camp Nico, but maybe their idea is okay. They don't know how to play against Nico, so let's do it and let's find out how they will manage to play it. Maybe Nico already practiced a lot against Yone in solo queues, so maybe it's a secret counter pick, but I'm questioning it.
Yes, okay. We will see how it works. Nico generally rather good in if she gets on top of somebody, she can like ult and do a lot of damage, burst damage with that. But if she doesn't, it's really hard to actually reliably deal damage. She has a root and some damage with her Q and in E. but it can be hard. So who knows? Maybe the idea is that Yone jumps on Nico and Nico then fires back or something. We'll see.
Questionable pick though.
Yeah.
But the Yone, as we said, the Nunu will camp Yone, most likely. So it will be a party in the mid lane. A 3-man versus 3-man always. So that would be interesting to see how they play around it. And the first objective, because Nunu is well known to be an objective destroyer. So the first race would be very important.
Yeah, definitely. Also, Nunu was really good at taking those drakes early with the consume, a lot of damage, also sustain in the jungle. And even if she gets to use her passive, can very well help with breaking down towers very early on. So Nunu is definitely strong in taking those objectives and trying to snowball those early leads. The reason we are currently remaking the draft is, of course, we were just in Pro Draft, so now you're looking at the real-time draft, after which we're going to go into a spectator delay again, and then we will be loading into game. So it's going to be a little while, so we have a little bit of time to continue talking about these team compositions.
Yeah. So the team composition of DCT is most likely just the solo queue vibe, and getting all laners fed ahead / even and win through there. Yeah, so you see the Jhin, always strong. The Yone, he wins the 1v1s, and the top lane, yeah, he just presses R and has a free 1v1, to say it that way. So, and Nunu is there to get everyone ahead. So that's their game plan. So not that hard, but
do you think
it works.
Do you think it's going to scale well into the late game, or is it going to really fall off if they don't get ahead early?
It's alright. Yeah, they have like very good early through to the Nunu and the Trash, and the late game is very good due to the fact that they have a Jhin and a Yone. Okay. And Mordekaiser is in mid game popping off, so they don't have the best late game, but not worse though. When you look at the other side, they have a Ezreal. Okay, I'm gonna quit spectating. Yeah, they have Ezreal, Hecarim, Ornn with the upgradable items. So I think TSE has the upper hand in the late game, but they have to make it that far, and not get behind. Because if you have a underfed Hecarim, you dive into the Mordekaiser, and you will get an R in your face, and that's it.
Interesting. So we are definitely looking at a competitive game, I hope. Yeah, because also yesterday we saw the Zorka XL really popping off in the mid game kinda. He got a few kills early on, managed to really effectively snowball that into a big lead where he was able to destroy backlines left and right. Are you expected to see the same? Is Nico going to be able to deal with that very well, or is like what do we need to see from TSEA to shut down Zorka XL?
TSEA, you mean TSEA?
TSEA, yeah.
Yeah, TSEA link, okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, say the question again.
So, Zorka XL was like destroying stuff yesterday. Like left and right, he was getting ahead, taking mid lane leads and snowballing them out of control. So what is TSEA Link going to have to do to shut down Zorka XL to prevent that from happening again?
Yeah, it's very clear. Like having 3 people on top of him, so he doesn't get the opportunity to scale. Yeah, that's why they picked the Bard. That's why they have a Hecarim and the Nico to set it up probably. So yeah, they're not going to do the scale game because Nico will scale less against the Yone. She will get 1v1 so easily.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're mostly going for the picks and putting him behind.
Okay.
And Ezreal just farms, scales, and cries on their tower. That's their game plan.
Something that actually supports that theory as well is the fact that they just TCA Link opted to not ban the Yone in the second ban phase. So apparently they're not afraid of it, so they have something prepared. Also already picking up the Bard beforehand. So maybe they really think that using the Bard, using the Hecarim, maybe even some Ornn and Ezreal roams as well, they can really shut down Zorka. Yeah. Or they're going to play some other way, like for example really hard targeting Yuli and Finish Plea. Just to make sure that even if Zorka gets ahead, it doesn't really matter because the rest of his team is so far behind.
Yeah, probably indeed.
So I think it looks like a controlled pick from TSCA given to DCT to give them a little bit of comfort to be like, hey, just chill, there's nothing gonna happen, and then suddenly they slap him in the face out of nowhere. Who knows?
Yeah. I think that mostly it though.
Yes, luckily we're also always going to loading screen, so while we're all doing that, I'm going to introduce the teams for you one last time in this semi-finals, game 1 about to start. DCT on the blue side, in the top lane, R Blindeboom, in the jungle, Shaman K, in the mid lane, Zorka XL, in the AD carry, Yuli, and at support, Funny Splee. That's going to be your blue side team for game 1. On the other side, red side, challenging them, trying to be the underdog and take the game and take the series home. In the top lane, Steamy Buns. In the jungle, Master Yeez, Boblord as mid lane, Rose BND on the AD carry, and White Roger as support. That forms TSCA Link. Now, I'm going to switch the stream off for a couple of seconds, so you will get to see the game. Maxime will get to see the game, and then I will be able to go into game once we are out of loading screen. No worries, it should be soon. You can still hear our voices. Meanwhile, I'll actually turn on the music a little bit because that's a bit obnoxious. Yeah, so Maxime, hyped for this game? Are you?
Yeah, pretty hyped.
Is it going to be a lot of early game, or are we?
Yeah, it's gonna be very early focused. Due to the Nunu, as we said, due to the Bard who likes to roam, due to the Trash, who likes to invade with Nunu by his side. So it would be an explosive early game. The team who gets ahead will most likely snowball it until victory. So it's gonna be the first level will be very interesting and deciding for the game.
Okay, interesting.
Right.
We're going to go into game in a second. I'm quickly changing some of the things for the overlay before I'm switching. The reason why we are already loaded into game, but the timer is only now started running, is because League of Legends is really good at calculating exactly 3 minutes, and therefore it was a bit off. This one just needs to change to 0. There we go. And now you can see us go as well. Let's go to the right camera.
And as we see, DCT decides to do just a cover of the jungle, moving our faces away from the mini map, and TSCA expected an invade, but nothing will happen.
Interesting, because yesterday we saw DCT not a single time trying to go for an invade. It was always a 5-man spread, and they are starting with the same strategy this time as well. So TSCA Link maybe misreading a little bit what's going to happen. Also, I see they need to change something.
Yeah, as we said, DCT is well known for their playing as the rulebook says. So playing very cool, playing very safe, and then abusing the small mistakes enemy makes.
Yes, indeed. So, very stock standard start. Nothing in level 1. Everybody's still alive. Nobody uses any summoners. Not even deep wards coming in. Something that, for example, Slacer really likes to do is get an early deep ward. It's a jungler for DCA Green. We get an early deep ward on an enemy buff. Not even a challenge for that. So
interesting though is the Ornn items. He did not decided to go just for the refillable. But he went for the shield and Mordekaiser as well, so I don't know how they are expecting to go to lane to go, but very unusual for both people to start shield.
Yeah, I'm expecting that both really are looking to get some early game fights going or something, as if Ornn doesn't want to be so far ahead in the early game, in the level 1. So we'll see how that ends up going. Meanwhile, the bot lane, a little bit of pressure from back and forth. It looks like the bot lane from Yuli and Funny Splee from DCT is going to hit level 2 first.
And meanwhile, looking to the attack room, we see a full clear incoming, so red buff into Krugs, and then most likely Raptors, and maybe a mid gank, or just a full clear. Because Hecarim is known to do a full clear very fast, and make it at Scuttle Crab at 320, 325, something like that.
Yes, the first hook already of the game lands. Funny Splee hits Roger. Roger gets pulled in and gets very low immediately, has to flash away. The flash follow from Funny Splee means that ultimately there is a equal amount of summoners trade. No, that's a live Funny Splee. Also used to ignite, but White Roger has to go back to base. Good trade in favor of DCT. Hecarim. Oh boy.
Getting hooked. That's the only way they will lose bot. But yeah. So if they don't Okay, Hecarim
Oh
decided
boy,
not.
Hecarim on a ward. And that means Shaman K is going to hit the greatest snowball ever onto Masi. Masi is going to run away, but he's got snared anyway. He has to pop his ghost. That means that the first gank is going to be definitely harder. Also, he's going to lose pressure over his blue buff. Triple buff in favor of Shaman K, it looks like.
And meanwhile, we see the Nunu taking away the blue buff from Hecarim, who loses all the tempo. He's now going to do the top scuttle, but has no top side to go to. So, very bad early potting. He skipped his blue buff.
Oh boy, what happened here? Suddenly, Yuli making a mistake, getting called 1v1, but Rosebeard is going to pay his life for it. And Shaman K is going to pick up the first kill. Also, we saw in the mid lane Zorka XL and Boblord trading very heavily. So there is indeed a bunch of action going on.
Yeah. As we said, the first few minutes of the game will be very explosive, and that's exactly what happened. Everyone is fighting, everywhere something is happening, so interesting.
Yeah, ultimately it is not resulting in a major gold shift just yet. 200 gold in favor, 100 gold in favor of Zorka XL, but hey, Shaman K looking for another gank.
Yeah.
And walking away.
Yeah, the Hecarim is very behind. That would be very hard for him to come back, because he has literally the worst jungle bot to go to now. He just has Gromp and Wolves up, and then Golems only. So yeah.
And this is already starting to get visible in the CS difference as well. Nunu already 8 CS, that's about 2 camps up of the Hecarim. Nunu, of course, already a fast clearing jungler, but Hecarim, like, without his blue buff and Nunu taking the blue buff of the Hecarim, making it a lot easier for Nunu to have an impact on the early game. Oh, here we go again. Boblord trying to use his clone to Duke, but going in on Zorka XL. He actually got me Duke for a second there, but Zorka XL managed to stay alive. Boblord fails to do the same and goes back to respawn.
Shaman K not even going for the wrong target. He knows it's going up. He knows that Nico's W, the fake one, runs faster, so he decided not to follow that one. Yeah,
very heads up play by Shaman K. Now I'm wondering, you see some little mistake from Boblord now, and we saw Hecarim already. Oh boy, never mind, we're getting hooked. Bard, White Roger already getting hooked again, again dropping very low on health, using his Bard bottle to get away, but it looks like
Nunu incoming, Nunu snowball.
To go base again. Nunu with the greatest snowball ever. It seems to be looking for a fake dive, never mind, he lets it go. Good decision from Shaman K to not dive there, because that would have been rough.
Yeah, the only thing which is not supposed to happen bot lane is happening. The trash is hitting every hook, and Bard takes it all. So okay.
Yeah, you mentioned in Champ Select that Funny Splee actually plays 2 champions. One of them was Thresh. He got his Thresh, and he's showing his proficiency with the champion.
Yeah, exactly.
He's having a big impact in the game so far. We see Hecarim looking for some vision and some information on their jungle camps from DCT, but he doesn't find anything. The top lane scuttle is spawning, so he will get to grab that. A lot of pings coming on in the river as White Roger is roaming. Finds a Nunu.
Yone is 6, so that should be an easy kill.
Yeah, Yone using indeed his ultimate onto White Roger. White Roger getting caught out again for the 3rd time this game, and this time he pays for it with his life.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Yeah. Bart is playing questionable the first few minutes of the game. He's not playing as he should be.
Yeah. Yeah, this time he just
everything, getting caught.
Yep.
Not respecting the vision, the level 6.
Yeah, exactly. The vision was what he was trying to start setting up, but he was a bit too greedy there, and Nunu was in the bot side, so it was a bit unfortunate timing. This is also resulting in the first Infernal Drake of the game and of the series going to DCT, Dutch Community Team. Oh boy, Zorka XL with the help of Shaman K now in the mid lane. Boblord using his ultimate to temporarily get out of dodge, and he actually manages to stay alive with that, but that means that his ult is now away. And away is used and on cooldown. Not being able to use that in the next fight might be devastating. We'll see how that happens.
Very low, no TP, and we see the ult on a 40 seconds cooldown for Zorka, so expect something happening in the future. Yes, over there.
Indeed. Now, the dragon was just taken. The next one will only spawn in 4 minutes 20. Are we going to see some swaps towards top side to get the Rift Herald?
I would love to, but I don't think DCT is even going to consider it. And as long as DCT doesn't pull the trigger, TSEA will not respond because they're loving this position to not swap. But DCT, yeah, they don't really play that kind of playstyle with the rotating game. Yeah, we see the TP from Mordekaiser, so they already decided not to do the swap. So yeah.
Yeah, interesting, interesting.
They could probably play it better on that part, but yeah, they rather play it solo queue wise. So every team is scores.
Yep. Yeah, meanwhile in the top lane we see some very big wet noodles being slapped around. Nothing really happening, even though some damage is being done. Hecarim, however, actually found himself a Herald and he just started it. So who knows, maybe some fight will break out over that. But for now it doesn't look like Nuno is going to challenge as he is bot side.
Nuno is looking for the blue buff again. Probably a dive after it. So we see Zorka with his ult and both sums up. So expect a fight in the bot happening.
Yeah, it looks like for now they're not opting into it. Mordekaiser roaming also down towards what looks like the mid lane, but because of the pathing he took, he did not spot Master Yeast. Now he did though, and Master Yeast looks like he already managed to get the Herald and get away cleanly. Well played by Master Yeast.
Okay, he played it perfectly around the vision. Only now they see him.
Yeah, oh boy, here comes the greatest snowball ever once more onto Boblord. Looks like an only pressure gag, but actually it's actually kill pressure. Boblord using the ult to get Sam McKay on the tower stuck, and he gets the counter kill and the double with locking himself in for a solid few minutes in the coming time.
Perfectly played. He had to use his flash though, so now he's in a very vulnerable position. Zorka still has his R, still has his both sums, so hopefully they can trade it back. But this was not what everyone expected. The Nuno inting.
Yeah, we saw, you already mentioned a little bit, there was the Zorka had his ult way earlier than Boblord, so there was an opportunity for this a lot earlier on in the game, like a minute ago. But JMK opting into it too late and paying for it with his life. Big mistake. As we see the top lane wet noodle fight continuing. Not really much of a CS difference building up in the top lane, but in the mid lane that is very much different. Zorka XL already about 20-25 minions ahead of Boblord. Also a result of course of a lot of pressure by Shaman K in the mid lane, but also because Zorka XL seems to be outperforming Boblord a little bit right
now. Ezreal decided to first go Manamune.
Oh boy, the flash forward from Finish Plea. You're trying to hand this play, but it doesn't work. Mark, here comes Shaman K. Shaman K actually managing to go very deep and landing his biggest snowball ever. Yuli in the meanwhile just sniping away from far away, and that's enough to pick up the kill onto Rose BND. Now also Bard falling, Wild Roger getting taken out by the ult from Zorka XL. Zorka XL trying to get away, but Master Yeast having none of that. Hecarim uses his ult and uses his devastating charge, gets onto the Zorka XL, and Zorka XL pays for a 2-for-1 in favor of Dutch community team.
Yes, Zorka had to blow his both sums out there. So paying for his life, only get 1 kill back using Zars, so he's now in a very hard position.
Oh boy, Massey's getting hooked again. Finish play. Looks like he might be sacrificing himself for Jink and get away, because it's a lot of damage coming in from this community team. But here is Nunu. Nunu, greatest snowball ever, running it into the Nico clone. Very well played by Boblord. And now Jin is in trouble. Yuli trying to run for his life. Same for Shaman K. Right Roger has arrived back in the fight, but now Nunu with his absolute zero managing to do a lot of damage, but it's not enough to take a kill. Jin does not have the follow-up damage, and therefore all members from TSA Link get away cleanly, not even close I guess. And here, Rose BND snipes Yuli after a good combo, and that means that there's another kill going in favor. That's 3 more for TSA Link.
Maybe the plan altogether was not the Nico pick, especially for the Yone, but to stop the snowball from rolling in.
Specifically targeted towards stopping Nunu.
Yeah, probably. Because what can Nunu do?
Yeah, fair enough. It's very obnoxious to deal with, and if Boblord plays it well, you might be able to stop a lot of snowballs going left and right. That is definitely true.
Interesting. Maybe that was their draft altogether?
TSA Link absolutely 5-heading the draft. We'll see if it pays off in the long run, but for now it looks like it's pretty good.
Hecarim still bought. Okay, he pops the Herald to get the first plates into the Ezreal gold, and himself, of course.
Yes, is Bard gonna run away or gonna stay for the gold? He seems to be staying, but he didn't get any gold because he was out of range.
Yeah, no one got the gold, only Hecarim, so.
Oh, that was a bit yikes.
Yeah. Hecarim doesn't really need the money, so giving all the money to Hecarim is
Here
not that
comes
bad.
another snowball. Never mind. Here goes Zorka. Zorka with some auto attacks and some slashes onto Boblord, making it very hard for Boblord to stay alive. Boblord, however, does leave with about a quarter of his health. Meanwhile, Bassigis, as well as White Roger and BND, started up the dragon and looked like they're going to get it cleanly. Now the question is, can they get out? Boblord also getting hit by the greatest snowball ever. This time it wasn't the clone, so he dies for it. We see a lot of continued fighting, but it looks like nobody else is going to fall. Now Bassis is relatively low. Zorka is going for the engage. Shaman K going in and looking for a lot of damage, but he's going to fall low himself. Meanwhile, Hecarim did manage to get out. Yuli now, 4 shots available. White Roger is technically low on health. Flash forward of Yuli and he manages to get the kill. Rose BND looking to trade back, but Finish Plea is low but not on his own, so therefore Rose BND does not seem worth it to engage even further. That was, I think, 2 kills in favor of DCT and 1 in favor of the TSCA link. Well played fight. Oh my lord. Rose BND just continues going forward. Kills the trash. Now he is in a 1v1 against the Jin. I'm sorry, directed camera went top lane randomly, but both are going very low.
There's a spectator bug. Actually, we don't see the bushes around the Drake.
Interesting. That is, of course, directly a good pointer to Ocean Soul that will be spawning in some time.
Okay, so for everyone who did not see here, exactly. Also, we don't see the new bushes who spawned. So Jin was there in a bush. Oh, okay, now they're back. Now the bushes appeared out of nowhere. I don't know if it was something with settings or something, but Jin just was in the bush, so they didn't see him. That's why they stopped fighting each other.
Yeah, something I want to take away from that fight just now is that Rose BND seems to be very, very confident in his Ezreal play. Just hopping in 1v2, knowing that he's not going to get caught. Almost taking away 2 kills, but at least killing the Thresh here. Very interesting, honestly, that they just decided to just go in there. Okay, as we're looking at...
We see top shutdown on the Mordekaiser.
Oh,
so
yeah.
that means he's some gold ahead.
That is definitely true. Let's actually... Oh boy, here we go. Rose BND. No, never mind. It's Boblord already in trouble again. Zorka and Shaman K looking for another player at the mid lane. Boblord manages to root both of them, but the root is not a stun. Therefore, they are not able to get a Bard ult. Trolling a little bit because the Jin manages to dodge the Ezreal ult with that. Now Yuli is getting run down. Hecarim is a horse. He is fast. He does a lot of damage, but he gets flayed by Funny's Plea on the tower. The hook into the flash means that he gets to kind of stay alive, but Bard ends up using the red buff to take out Funny's Plea. Yeah, because he also managed to take the kill onto Yuli, I guess, who then before that killed Hecarim. I guess that's something like that happened. Anyway, 2 kills in favor of TSCA Link, but traded for Master Yi's. So, now, the first towers are falling. Both mid lane and bot lane tower from the opposite sides have fallen. What is the next play going to be for either team?
Most likely they go mid, hopefully, or they go top. But best play would be good to go mid to secure the Drake, which will come up in 2 minutes. And Bart is going to roam.
Ooh, Herald in the top lane. So they're going to try and push down this top lane tower before the Drake spawns and then rotate towards Drake. But TSCA Link expected this. They have reacted, and it looks like the Herald is going to get a charge off. Yeah, it did get
the tower.
Yeah.
Okay,
exactly.
perfect.
Oh boy, Zorka XL looking for an engage. Rose BND managing to flash away from the ult, but Zorka XL is strong. Auto attack Q, auto attack Q, auto attack Q, and it's the end of Rose BND. Even with his Arcane Shift, even with his flash, is not enough to escape the unstoppable Zorka XL.
And the question is going to be who is going to 1v1 Dione in the side lanes. Because as we see, the Ezra is not capable to deal with him. The Nico and Ladal solo. So it's going to be hard for them to contest anything against Dione.
Yeah,
they will need Hecarim to sit on him.
Yeah, we already spelled it out in Champ Select. Yone is a very strong champion, and Zorka XL, if he gets a lead in the mid game, is really able to snowball that. And that is exactly what is happening right now. TSCA needs to find some sort of answer, either killing him often or playing completely around him, but this is getting to be a serious problem. And as more towers start to collapse on the map, we see that only the bot lane tower from TSCA Link and the top lane outer tower from DCT are still standing. I'm lying, there's also a mid lane tower from DCT.
We see Drake in 30 seconds. DCT, they all recalled at the same time to get their mythics. So now on the board, Aegis for Nunu, And a Gale Force for Jhin. Gale Force to get the mobility against Nico, against Hecarim. To stay alive.
Yeah, definitely very standard. Also something I really like here from DCT, also a very playbook standard play, is look at the inventories and count the control wards. There's 4 champions that have a control ward, 3 of which have 2. Meanwhile, Finish Flea manages to find Roger with a hook one more time. The death box, as it's often referred to, is deployed by Thresh, but it's not enough to actually do something. Here we go. Call of the Forge God. On to Shaman K. Shaman K now in a bit of trouble. Just how does the channel is absolute 0. But is it enough to know? He just dies. Yone ults again, but immediately getting stopped. He is going back out. He is still alive, but he is not able to do much damage anymore. Now, Master Yeez in a 1v1 against Erblindome. Running circles around him, but it's not enough. Erblindome takes the kill in a 1v1. And then Ornn continuing to fight further. Host BND is in a bit of a rough stuff because he can never get into melee range. Now Zork has regained enough, going back into the Ezreal. Ezreal hopping back over the ball. And meanwhile, the other side of the fight, Yuli and Finish Flea are cleaning up the back or the front line of TSCA. This is going to be rough because Yuli only needs 1 more auto attack, but only Host BND walks away from the fight from TSCA, and the Drake goes over to DCT.
I will play to DCT. Zorka did not get killed. He went to the wave, get lifesteal, and come back to the fight. So the fight was really extended, so he could make it back and kill another person.
Yeah, definitely. You see, even when he gets poked out early in the fight, he still has a large impact. Also, a very good ultimate from Erblindeboom. Master Yi is not able to deal with that, and therefore not able to dive onto the Jhin. Jhin, meanwhile, just got to freely take out deal damage to Steamy Buns, as well as Bob Lord, and Rose BND couldn't really do much in the end. So well played by TSCA Link. My bad. Well played by DCT against TSCA Link.
The other way around is also possible, but...
Yeah, definitely. Now we see the red buff going over to Yuli, as well as the other red buff going over to Master Yeez. So teams might be setting out for a fight in a couple of minutes. For now, it seems to have settled down a little bit.
Yeah, as we see, the Mordekaiser are going to the bot lane with his TP up. So that means they're looking to get control around Nesher and maybe bait him into a fight over there, because they have the lead. They have a 5k gold lead. So they're in the driving seat.
Yeah, you're definitely right. If we look at the specific gold lead, by the way, we look at top lane, we see that there's a large part of that gold lead is in the top lane. And also in the mid lane, indeed.
3k gold difference, that means a whole item. That's going to be rough for Nico to do anything against...
Yeah, or in fact for anybody on the side of TSCA. However, Rose BND has Divine Sunderer and Muramana, so that is going to be potentially devastating if he gets enough time in fights, because that does a lot of damage.
Yeah, he's mana immune stacked as well, so Muramana is there to deal extra damage.
Yes, definitely. Shaman K looking for another snowball onto Nico, but there's not enough pressure to get a kill.
Drake in 3 minutes, so that means no idea why they're now invading bot side.
Oh boy, maybe because of this, because the death sentence lands onto Master Yi, and it is indeed a death sentence. Now, Shaman K just continuing to fight, but it's not enough, and Yone meanwhile on the top lane, dealing a lot of damage against Steamy Buns. The entire team of TSCA Link is having trouble with that Yone.
As we said, Yone out of hand. Zorka is very good in his champ, and he can 1v9 every game almost.
Yeah, it definitely seems to look like it. Meanwhile, Bard is now answering the Zorka XL. Lance is still in the tower, but it's not enough to really kill anything. Yeah, really big problem. Are we seeing it on the ban list for next game, maybe? Because it's rough.
Yeah, I hope TSA learns something from this, and they should keep the Shen ban, but banning the support, banning the Yone should be on their list.
Yeah, definitely.
Certainly if they're gonna pick a Nico against a Nunu, they need something of a control mage to one-shot, but not a Yone, which you lose always the 1v1s. Because that's their problem in the draft now. They can't do the 1-3-1, they have to do a 4-1, but DCT is in the driving seat, so they will opt for a 1-3-1. So someone has to answer the Yone, but nobody's capable of doing it alone, so...
Yeah, definitely. That is a problem. Yeah. Now, something to note, of course, if TSCA Link were to lose this game, they will have side selection in the next game. That means that they can opt to go for blue side and not need to ban the Shen, as they can pick it up themselves.
Exactly.
So we will see what happens, of course, but that is a scenario that can play out. Yeah, it is looking like it might be a DCT victory here in game 1, given the gold lead of 6k at 23 minutes is substantial. Not, of course, not undefeatable, but definitely substantial. So yeah, we're looking at an uphill battle from the side of TSCA Link. Now, the next objective looks like Dragon is going to be spawning. Because the earlier plays, DCT has some pressure around the bot lane jungle. Oh boy, here we directly go. The snowball onto right Roger trying to get away from there, but there is a Jhin right in his face. He just lands the Tempered Fate, but it's not enough to stay alive as Jhin picks up the kill. That's one pick, and it looks like that means that also the Drake is now going to be available for Dutch community team. Oh boy. Blindeboom with the ultimate. Oh no, never mind, it's more interesting. But Rose BND getting caught by the biggest snowball ever, and it costs him his life. And the other side of the map now, Simibuns a bit running the wrong way, but he has help. Master Yi is coming in, getting a bit annoyed by the Horn Pitter actually. And oh boy, that takes the minion. That is the wrong thing to do, my boy, and that makes Blindeboom easily walk away. And also Nunu just casually taking the Drake. Yuli, meanwhile, not really giving a shit and going for the mid lane inhib tower.
Meanwhile, it's important to notice that Orin hits level 14, so that means he can upgrade items. The first item is 14, right?
Yeah, definitely. Level 13 he upgrades his own item, and level 14 upgrades his first allied item.
So I hope he's going to opt for the Hecarim. We'll see now, maybe the Ezreal, but the Nico is not the best play to make. Okay, he's going for the Ezreal, okay. So they are choosing to do the Ezreal carry, not the Hecarim one. That's interesting.
Divine Sunderer now became the Deicide. That is, oh boy, Shaman K looking in a bush. And steals the red buff and walks away. Very sneaky, very sneaky.
You hate to see it. That one I learned from Koen.
Yeah, definitely. Zorka XL, if he gets caught by a Nico E, a Nico Root, definitely still can take a bunch of damage, so he cannot just walk in. But he has Immortal Shield Bow, he has the Bladed Ruined King, and another Vampiric Scepter, which is likely going to be Bloodthirster. This boy is healing.
Yeah, exactly. So the Nico poke,
unless
it kills the person, won't do anything.
The flash forward from Shaman K onto the Ezreal. Really in problem, and there we see exactly why Guildforce on Jhin is fun. He dashes forward, lands his fourth auto check, and takes the kill. Rose BND, even as an Ezreal, cannot escape that engage.
Yeah, as we said, I hope they're going to ban the Nunu, because Shaman K is solo carrying every game on the Nunu.
Yeah, 2 people solo carrying this game. That is definitely rough.
Yeah, but it's mostly the Nunu who's getting everyone fed, and
Fair
then
enough.
they can 1v9. So the first person in line is the Nunu.
Yeah. Now, normally you wouldn't see such a call like this since Master Yi is still alive, but because the gold difference is now 11,000 gold, it is very, very valid for Shaman K to say, you know what, screw them, we are taking the Baron, and we are forcing this into the inhib fights.
Okay, yeah, exactly. So, what do you think is the only way for TSCA to win? Because I think there's maybe only one way, but...
Yeah, I'm looking at a hard over-engage from DCT, I think. Something needs to happen, Jorka needs to get caught out on his own, going way too deep, stunned or something, and then maybe the SCA can start looking to win a fight here or there. But for now that's definitely not the case. The Tempered Fate is looking for an engage, followed by the card called the Forge Gold, but the hook lands, therefore the second half of the card cannot go. But meanwhile, Master Yi is on Jhin. Jhin going very low, running for his life, and getting taken out. That's good for TSCA Link. Now, Blindeboom is still a Mordekaiser that can do a lot of damage, certainly in a 1v1 against Ornn. Ornn now looking to re-engage and try and stay alive. He just managed to stay alive, Blindeboom, but here comes Zorka! 2-man ult! Onto the backline of TSCA Link, getting 1 kill and then jumping right back out all the way to safety. Blindeboom still alive, still doing damage. Shaman K coming right back in, and now it's a 1v1 in the mid lane while Ornn is still in base. Ornn did survive, and that means that it is a 4-for-3 in the favor of TSCA Link.
Credits to Ezreal, who plays the fights almost perfectly. He waits for the right moment, jumps in, assassinates persons, and plays very cool.
Yeah, very well played by the Ezreal indeed. I am quickly going to see if I can find out who shut down the...
The Hecarim got a 1k shutdown from Jhin.
Okay, that's Jhin and Zorka. Did he have a shutdown?
Yeah, a little small one, so...
Okay, but still, the 1k for Master Yeast, that is very, very impactful, meaning that he now has his dash dance finished. Who knows? We'll see if it goes continues going on like this.
Hecarim is now a buff person. Can we see the gold lead?
Definitely. There we go.
Okay, so yeah, now we see the gold lead is dead even for the junglers. Top lane is still a 2k difference, and the mid lane is getting out of hand.
That's
5k. That's not what you like to see.
That's literally half the gold lead of DCT entirely in the hands of Zorka. That's a bit of a yikes right there.
Yeah, we see which lane has lost the bet.
Yeah,
okay,
definitely.
Ornn level 16, 3 upgradable items, mid lane, the Nico, the Hecarim, and the Ezreal, so...
Yeah, only the Imperial
really
Mandate is still to be upgraded. We have the Infinity Force and the upgrade. Oh boy, here we go. Shaman K landing the snowball onto the Ornn, but it is not enough to get anything done. The Ornn is very tanky. So now we see the container engage on the backline, but a huge Tempered Fate stops the engage. That distracts, but is it enough to save TSCA Link? It looks like it will not be. Zorka jumping back to where he came from because he was getting low. Now, Horse BND is still alive, but he is getting targeted. Manages to dodge the hook. That sentence is not going to hit, and therefore Zorka is going to take the counter kill. Onto Funny Splee. Funny Splee therefore is now dead out of the fight, but Rosemary is still looking to continue fighting. Damage after damage, poke after poke. Shaman K looking to get it to meta range. Meta range is achieved. Now, Rosemary all on his own, looking to get the outplay of the century, but it is not managed because he gets grabbed by Hecarim and donked on the head. Jhin picking up the double kill. 5-4-2, and that means that the Ocean Soul is now going in favor of Dutch community team, and now it is hardly possible for TCA Link to come back.
Exactly, they have the Ocean Soul now, so the healing is insane. Although Nico decided to go for the healing reduction, and we have the Bramble Vest, I don't think that's going to stop them from healing all their damage back, because TSEA only has a Pokemon with the Ezreal, with the Nico, and when they're low enough to engage, but getting them low enough would be a very hard job. So exactly as you said, the only way is overextend. But as we saw, DCT plays it cool, plays it very by the book. The first the Nunu jumps in, then the trash, and then the backline. So yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Something I want to point out.
Finding the opportunities is impossible.
I definitely agree. Something I want to point out, by the way, Oblivion Orb before patch 10.23 did not give Grievous Wounds, but after patch 10.23, Oblivion Orb already does give Grievous Wounds. They make it a bit of a stronger item, so therefore just going Oblivion Orb for now is good enough. I definitely agree with what you say, by the way. Anti-healing is going to be very valuable. Looking at Zorka XL, for example, with 3 healing items, and oh boy, never mind, here we go. The Bard lands his stun onto Zorka XL. Zorka XL now in a bit of trouble, having to flash away over the wall, but that does mean he is now in safety. Hecarim not really finding an engage, but Boblord manages to stun too. Yuli is now getting low, getting targeted, and Zorka XL dealing damage back. Jhin is dead, but Zorka XL on the Yone still doing damage. Mordecai is a little bit of a troll because he denies Zorka XL the kill, but it is enough to guarantee another teamfight win. Only Master Yi's live because he just couldn't fight and engage. Never mind, Rightward, you're still there, but it's not going to be enough to stop the final push.
It's not going to be enough to stop it. This will be most likely be game, unless if they go running down on the fountain. But you see the Hecarim is so behind. He's just a kind of minion at this point.
Yeah, definitely. Certainly against Zorka XL. So what TSCA ultimately tried to do in this game is indeed derail the game. And it looked like it was working in the first few minutes, but then Zorka XL together with the rest, mainly Shaman K and Zorka XL together with the rest of DCT, took the book, put it back in there, and just drove it home. GG's.
Yeah, they obliterated the mid lane, the jungle. We see the 2-7 Nico. That's not what you'd like to see.
Yes, indeed, I agree with you. Now, you can see our faces again. General thoughts. Do you have any specific things you want to point out before we go into the break?
Yeah, as you said, the draft. I hope they're going to reconsider the Nico pick into the into the Yone, because the Nico into the Nunu is a good idea, but the Nico into the Yone is very troll. And as we saw, the 5k gold difference is an issue which has to be addressed
Yeah,
as soon as possible.
definitely. So, are we going to see the different bans? That is a bit of the question. Only
Yeah,
one way to find out, and that is by looking at the next game. Don't go anywhere. We're going into a short 5-minute break, after which we are going to go into game 2. Have a good 5
epic.
minutes. Bye bye. Hallo dames en heren, welkom terug bij deze tweede game. In fact, we should go to English. Hello ladies and
Yeah.
gentlemen, welcome back to the second game of this epic match, epic finals in fact, between TSCA, Link and the Dutch community team. We just saw the Dutch community team taking home the first game by playing by the book. Are we going to see the same? Are we going to go something different? What is your opinion, Maxime?
From the side of DCT, I hope they just gonna stick with what they're doing right now. At the side of TSEA, I hope they're going to switch around some things. So the bot lane was very clean. The Ezreal, the part was questionable, but that's not about the champion, but more likely about his playstyle, because he was not playing Thresh with the right mindset. But mostly focused on the mid lane. So the Nico into the Yone, as we said, don't do it again.
Yeah.
It's 24-1 game, but as you see, you just lose the 1v1s straight up. So
Speaking of switching around, the teams have swapped sides. TSCA Link has opted into the other side of the map this time. So that's why TSCA Link will now be visible on the blue side. What is that going to change in Gem Select? Are we going to see the Shen ban still coming out, for example, from TSCA Link, or are they allowed to leave that open?
So we see the Swain ban again, the Monster Reban again. Also important is to know that TSCA top laner also plays Wukong. And Wukong opens a lot of possibilities for having a tankier mid lane against the Yone. So maybe they're gonna opt for that play style. But again, the Shen ban. Okay, so they don't want to play Shen, and they don't want to see it.
Yeah.
So that means for the rest of the whole draft, for the next one as well, they're just gonna stick with the same bans.
Interesting. So we still see Yone to be open. Actually, we see, in fact, the entirely same bans from both sides, regardless of what side they are picking from. And now the first lock, Ezreal, while the gym was still open. Interesting.
The Ezreal, first pick. Okay, so that means the ADC is very comfortable in this Ezreal and wants to stick with that.
Yeah.
I think there are better options to first pick, but it's not the worst, so...
Fair enough. Yeah, the something that strikes me here is that I think TSCA Link doesn't want to give away anything with their first pick, so which is a bit weird why they would choose blue side in that case. So anyway, they don't want to give away anything with their first pick away a very safe AD carry. And that means that Dutch community team now gets to lock in Jin Rakan as their
the
answer.
Rakan is because the support of DCT, as we said, only plays Rakan and Thresh, so both are open. So he gets to play his comfort.
Yeah, one more game. Last game we saw him on Thresh, looking very good, hitting hooks left and right. That was very impressive, honestly, from Funny Splee. Now he gets to show off with the Rakan, trying to see if he can make indeed a grand entrance or if it's going to be a sad exit. On the opposite side, Bard is locked in again. Same bot lane for TSCA Link. Do you think that is the correct choice to make here?
Yeah, because the playstyle is good, but the only problem was the Bard getting hooked. So if they change that part of how the bot lane went, I think they have a really good bot lane on their hand.
Okay, well, one thing that's already for sure is that there are no hooks on the side of Funny Splee this time. So Bard will not get a hook.
Yeah, but there is a Rakan W.
Definitely. Meanwhile, Graves getting locked in, a very solid jungler in the current meta, has a very easy clear. So yeah.
Graves is solid, but he got nerfed by a large amount. So we have to see how he still makes a very fast clear, as we used to know.
Yeah, I'm wondering if he still goes Eclipse. We also saw an Immortal Shield Bow yesterday, so maybe that is
Immortal Shield Bow is more likely though. You
something
also can go dash Graves. So I had to have double dashes, but
Gale Force, let's go.
yeah, Gale Force is questionable, but indeed, as you said, Shield Bow is more common at the moment.
Yes.
And we see the Galio ban, so that means they are opting for the Yone again.
Yeah, I think meanwhile, entirety of TSCA Link will be shivering because the Nunu and Willem are locked in again. Sherman K looked very impressive on that first game, very active, and now it is again in his hands, so we'll see if he manages to replicate the result. So the Silas ban from the side of TSCA Link answered, well, as an answer to the Galio ban, and now the response looking like the Malphite ban. And as I said yesterday, if you ban Malphite, it already tells the enemy team that we are going to look to block a lot of physical damage.
Yeah, so expect the Yone again.
Exactly.
Unless if it get banned. Oh, they're going to ban the Mordekaiser. Okay, that's interesting.
So to me, it looks like the Dutch community team will get their hands on a very similar team composition as last game. Last game, TSCA Link couldn't deal with it, so are they going to be able to deal with it this time?
Yeah, so you see the Mordekaiser ban because they want to force everyone on 80 champs and have the Graves with a lot of armor, and then probably another Ornn game.
Yes, exactly. And anticipating that Ornn already, you are seeing the Gangplank hover. That is a very decent pick into Ornn because it doesn't really fight and scales relatively easily. So that is a good foresight from the Dutch community team, in fact.
So I don't know how the matchup Wukong GP is, but it could be interesting. If they could opt again for just Ornn, the safe pick, the scaling. So yeah, that's the safer option, but not more fun to watch.
And here is indeed the Forge God locked in again, Ornn in the top lane.
Ornn duty.
Exactly, Ornn duty. I think Steamy Buns will be happy to be on Ornn duty, and if he won't be happy, he's just in bad luck, in fact. So now next up, what are we going to be seeing?
A mid lane, hopefully a mage, not the Nico, and then we're happy.
I'm
Because
still
I expect from enemy team the Yone again. So
Malzahar
okay,
over.
the Malzahar into the Yone. It's alright the first few levels, but then you get a QSS and then it's over.
Yeah.
So
But it looks like it might not be the Yone this game, but in fact the Victor is hovered. Therefore, Zorka XL. It's not locked in yet, right? But if this gets locked in, Zorka XL voluntarily stepping off the Yone, on which he has looked so good in the past few games today and yesterday. It's actually locked in. To supply some magic damage.
exactly, because you don't want to have a full AD team against Ornn Graves, so smart option.
Yeah, now what we see, Malzahar into Victor. How does that compare to the lane of Nico versus Yone? It's a very different lane, in fact, because there's not really much assassin anymore. Is this something we see often? I don't think so.
What doing?
The mid lane. Do we like? What do we think of the mid lane right now? Because it's a bit of a wonky matchup.
Victor is very meta. I know that going because previous patch you went for Imperial Mandate Rylai's on Victor, but Victor is just a solid pick. But the Rylai's Imperial Mandate build is gone due to the nerfs. But Victor is still top tier. Malzahar is just a good counter against some picks. So as we said, against the Yone, it's very solid. Against other engaged champs, but it's not very common to see him be played. But yeah, it's a good counter pick.
Yeah, we're going to have to see how much effectivity or how much effectiveness it's going to have. My apologies. Of course, it has the passive, meaning that the first time the Malzahar gets hit by anything, it's going to block it. But then the passive is going to go away, and it needs like 40 seconds of not taking damage and recharge it. So I think that's going to be either Nunu, Gangplank, or Rakan's job to pop that Malzahar passive in order to properly collapse onto Boblord. And in fact, the interaction between Gangplank's ultimate and Malzahar, of course, is very interesting. Because Malzahar will never be able to, as long as Gangplank uses his ultimate properly, will never be able to have his passive available in a team fight.
Yeah, exactly. And also, the GP is also good against the R from Malzahar. Malzahar just presses R and you just orange and run out of it. So
eat an orange and it's okay.
Yeah. So the only really threat to focus for the Malzahar is the dash. Jhin. We'll probably see the Galeforce again. And maybe the Nunu who likes to go in and then be stopped and be killed ASAP. But for the rest, the GP, the Rakan. Yeah, the Rakan is also possible. So okay, Malzahar has like a lot of good targets, but a QSS and it's over. And now you also have the AP QSS item, am I right? Or is it only the Bruiser one?
I think there's only two. I think there's only the Mercurial Scimitar as well as the Mace. I'm not sure what the name is.
Okay, that means Victor won't have any possibility to get a QSS, so...
In the past, we have seen even Magic Damage champions opting into Mercurial Scimitar because of the QSS effect. It's very inefficient because you're only getting a 1300 gold effect for a very much larger price. So yeah, just QSS, I guess. But
you also get MR though.
Yeah, exactly. But the MR is also included in the 1300 gold. So we'll see.
With his Q auto attack.
Exactly. So we'll see how they decide to itemize. I am indeed not expecting any cleanse-ish effect from Victor. In fact, the summoner spell cleanse does not even deal with suppressions.
Suppress, exactly.
So
that's kind of troll. If you take so.
Yeah, and given that Ornn can apply Brittle before Malzahar uses his ultimate, means that Victor will be standing still even longer by the way that Brittle works, of course. So maybe we'll see that interaction, maybe we won't. That is something that we might be able to keep an eye on. Okay, in general, who scales better if this game goes long? Actually, first, if this game goes short, who is better in the early game and the mid game?
The early game is most likely for DCT again, because they have the Rakan engage, because they have the Nunu engage. But I think they also scale better though. Enemy team has the Graves, has the Ornn, has the Ezreal. But enemy DCT has the GP, which scales incredible, and the Victor and the Jhin as well. So yeah, both teams scale evenly, maybe more sided into DCT, but the early game is for sure for DCT. So if they get the lead, late game is decided already.
Yeah, so what you're saying is that it's going to be very, very hard for TSCA Link to find a proper avenue in the game to fight. Mm-hmm. So they're going to have to do something to get ahead. That's basically what you're saying, right?
Yeah, I think the mid game indeed is where they have to shine, but early and late is their weakest point.
Fair enough.
Mid game they have the unupgradable items around level 13, 14. And then you have the S with the Mana Mew, Muramana, and Divine Sunderer. And the Bard has then a lot of damage compared to a Rakan.
With the Imperial Mandate, for example, indeed.
But how longer the game goes, I think the GP will just one-shot the entire backline.
Classic GP style. We saw it at Worlds, where
whole Europe felt it.
Yeah, exactly. Where I think it was G2 that really got one shot from behind there by Damwon Gaming. So hey, Arblindeboom, if you ever feel like taking a World Championship, that definitely could be one of the plays you need to make. But yeah, we're not there yet, of course. We're only at the DCA League of Legends Autumn Tournament, but it's a good first step. So there's still...
It was Bin I see in the chat.
Oh, it was Bin. Oh, my bad. It was... It doesn't even get you to a World Championship. Never mind then.
Yeah, it's a Timmy known for his quiz mechanics.
Fair enough. Well played. Yeah, no, never mind then. It doesn't even get you a World Championship. It's not even worth trying. Anyway, as the spectator delay now ends, we're going into the loading screen and then into game. Meanwhile, I have a question for you. What is Shaman K going to do in the early game? Is he going to be all over the place again? Is he just going to be going mid lane? Is he going bot lane? Is he going top lane? Where is he going to go?
Most likely, again, the mid lane will be the focus, due to the fact that Ezreal has escaped. But as we saw, Shaman K is good in predicting where Ezreal will jump and to play around it, but ganking the Ornn, camping the Ornn, would be the worst decision of their life. So.
Yes. Well, we are in game. You can't see us right now. My apologies, but you can definitely see Summoner's Rift currently. I hope Maxime can see it too. Then everything is working properly.
I can see it.
Great.
But seeing us the whole game long is not that important. We're pretty, but
yes.
Not that pretty.
Okay, as we are waiting with the lights out for a couple of more seconds while League of Legends catches up with itself. In fact, I'm wondering what's over here. There's a health bar sitting there. Anyway, here we go. The lights turned on, the timer started running, the champions are spawning, and the first items are being built. Are we seeing anything weird with the masteries or with the first items?
Yeah, the masteries. The only really abnormal maybe is the comment on the Malzahar, but for the rest it's more it's like common for everyone to go grasp on the GP, the phase rush on mid and top, jungle and mid. So the Jhin with the Dark Harvest, nothing in particularly really strange on
Yeah,
that part.
definitely looking relatively standard. You see the Guardian from White Roger. I believe there are some other options on Bard as well.
Yeah, you can go as well for the previous game. He went for the not the Dark Harvest, but the other one, the Electrocute.
Electrocute,
But this
yes.
game he opted for the more safer option.
Yeah,
Maybe
Bard.
because he found out that he gets a lot of grabbed, getting a lot of poked. Maybe that's why he now played the more safe
Yeah,
option.
definitely not paying off for him last game. Meanwhile, we see that both teams have decided that a fan out is the way to go. Finish Plea face checking White Roger and walking away with the grand entrance as well.
And we see again the Ornn with the Doran shield not going for the refillable.
Yeah, I wonder.
Getting kind of questionable.
Yeah, I'm wondering if that is a conscious choice, like that he knows that it is an option to not start with pots and stuff and start with the refillable potion, or if he just isn't aware that a strategy is a thing. And in the latter case,
I hope it's the last part, to be honest, but
yeah,
it could be that he likes it more and finds better. But
yeah,
most of the Ornns have the same idea that going refillable is the way to go.
Yeah, the only way I would see this pay out if he expects Shaman K to come top lane really early, and then he would need the stats to survive the gank maybe. But as you already said, that is very unlikely. We see both junglers starting top side, pathing towards their bot side, but Nunu historically very quick, so he's already crossed the river and started on the third camp at the same time. All the lanes are going kind of even.
Top lane, yeah, top lane's not going very even.
Oh
we see
boy.
the poke. The Ornn into the GP is a bad matchup, but he just cried out and scale.
Ornn doesn't need farm, he just needs items, yeah, and he will definitely he needs one item.
He needs his level.
Yeah. Level 14 is when the Ornn really starts becoming online, as he starts becoming giving a lot of extra gold value, about 1,000 per item into the team. Until then, he's going to have a bit of a rough time. He's going to have a rough time against Blindebom all game long. Here already comes the first snowball, because Nunu is looking to wreak havoc in the backline of the TSCA. And Right Roger getting caught and therefore has to flash away. Also going very low, but manages to go into tower. But Flint forward from Yuli is enough to take the kill. And Rose BND is now all alone in this fight versus 3. He is looking to pose a bit more forward than he might be able to. But Finish Bleed does not go for the re-engage. And therefore a single kill and a single first blood in the advantage of DCT.
And again we see the large tempo difference between the two junglers. Master Yeez goes for the full clear, yeah, almost full clear, and now going for the top scuttle, because he knows that Nunu is on the bot one, so he likes to secure at least one.
Yes, I definitely agree. We see Nunu meanwhile noticing that Boblord does not have his passive available, and there we already see a big snowball coming into mid lane, going to top side, because he's also going to challenge the second Scuttle Crab. Unsuccessfully,
but
I
the
believe.
Smite from Master G's secures it.
Exactly. Unsuccessful challenge, but hey, you see why Shaman K is so good at Nunu. He's super fast all over the map.
Yeah, aggressive, super fast. He knows where to be at the right times. And he knows his jungle pot, as we saw, he skipped just Gromp, because as Nunu, you're more likely to clear Raptors than Gromp, so very good choice.
Yeah. Yeah, it looks
Getting
like
the
Shaman
tempo,
K.
getting the vision.
Shaman K is really on point with his Nunu today and also yesterday, so it is a rough game again, or rough start again for TSCA Link for now. Here we see the third snowball of the game already coming in, maybe looking to get a steamy bun on his blade, but might be enough. No, it's not enough, because the snowball timed out, so it just bumped into the minion.
Okay, I thought it was the wall with that.
No, I believe it was a snowball time, but we'll never know. He just failed it regardless. So just again some extra pressure in the top lane.
That's what most people don't know, but why he went top is just to get the hard push, the hard shove into the tower, so that the Ornn doesn't get to freeze the wave there. So you love to see when your jungler knows this and plays around it in solo queue, but you can't expect that.
Yeah, definitely Shaman K not only showing good knowledge of Nunu, but also showing good knowledge of like game states and lane states. and that is something very important of the jungler to be able to do. So yeah, a huge respect to Shaman K helping out his top laner there, shove out the wave. This allows for a better base timing for Gangplank in general, which then allows Gangplank to continue bullying Ornn for the rest of the laning phase. Meanwhile, we see mid lane that both mid laners actually are running out of mana fast. Both just hit level 6. Not expecting much to happen there until Nunu or Graves show up there. Finish split push.
Also, no bot mid used, so
yeah.
it means only farm game.
Yeah, and we see the farm game, in fact, it's specifically in the mid lane, going well in advantage of Zorka XL. Already with a 15 CS lead is very substantial at this point in time.
Like every lane again has a small lead. Every laner has 2 minions up, so at least.
Oh, and Rose BND flashing away.
Oh, he has to flash.
He actually
Into
lived.
the heel.
Oh, the Gangplank ult takes him out. Very well played by Airblindebom. A good engagement finish plea, not expected by Rose BND. And that was a kill. Here we see Shaman K coming in with the dive, knock up into CC, and Jhin takes another kill to base. Meaning that Jhin is now 2-0 up in favor of DCT.
Well played from S, but the GPR was just too much for him.
Yeah.
Pretty well played as well by the GP.
Yeah.
Looking around the map, looking for the opportunities.
Oh
missing.
boy. Master Yi is coming in, therefore also the Colored Force Scope, but Airblindebom immediately flashes away, respecting the Ornn ult, and therefore not even losing a quarter of his health. Well played. Whew, yes, we saw Rose BND doing everything he could there in the bot lane to get away from that fight. But yeah, he was called out already, so it was a bit too late to still survive. This means that Jhin now already has his Swifties finished. Rakan, in fact, also has his Swifties finished. And Jhin already has a pickaxe, a longsword, and a dagger to go with that. Which means he has a lot more fighting power than the Ezreal, who only has a Coalfields Warhammer and boots.
Yeah, and a tier. That's not a good spot for him.
What a weird interaction there, where Boblord just walked past a finished plea and didn't give a damn.
Yeah, the strange part is that Bard, who should be the support roaming, is always getting outroamed by whatever champ Funny Split plays.
Yeah.
And they have not the opportunity to kill Yuli. Yuli has flash up, has his heal up, so he plays very safe, but still has a farm lead, nonetheless.
Oh, Simi Buns looking to find a bit of a decent trade, but Sabrina Brimboom, you making good use of that bush to get away. Oh, and there goes your passive. Nunu in the meanwhile at the Herald. That's a pretty clean take-up, honestly. There's no vision or no pressure to contest this on the side from TSA Link. This might be thrown top lane to continue giving Gangplank the lead. For now, Ashimi Buns looking for a good fight onto Airblindebom, and honestly finds a pretty good trade. Oh boy, set up in the bot lane. We see Graves coming in hot with the Bard Bauble. Meanwhile, Rose BND jumping forward and ending his W and his Q as a combo, but ultimately Yuli just flashes away and gets out safely. Some counter damage onto White Roger means that White Roger is now in trouble. Top lane is also something happening apparently.
Not important at all.
Yeah, nothing happened. So let's go to manual camera for a sec. Here we see... Oh, hang on, never mind. We see in the top lane a teleport from Boblord back in behind Shaman K and behind... there you go, Airblindebom. Nice flash into the death, and that means that Shaman K is now also in trouble, but he still starts channeling his absolute zero because Zorka XL is now also here. Simi Buns very low, must to flash away, but is still in trouble. Boblord now without the flash available is going to get away, but it does mean that both of them are going to have to go base. Yeah, so after Rift Herald play, good response by TSA Link, picking up 2 kills for nothing. Oh boy, Rose BND with the Arcane Shift forward, now walking over a trap, meaning that he has to stop. But yeah, they are definitely, TSA Link is definitely looking for fights here. Very aggressive.
They're looking for the opportunities, looking for the TP plays, playing around her champion very well, so...
Yes, definitely. Yeah. Next up, the Dragon, I guess.
yeah, TSA decided to swap, or just GP just takes the mid wave, pushes it out, and then goes back to top lane. I don't know why Ornn doesn't go mid. Okay, now he decides to go mid to hold the wave, but they already lost like 3 minions in XP.
Yeah, it's a little bit curious. Meanwhile, White Roger very much on the wrong side of history right here because he gets caught out in the enemy jungle with nobody around him. Rose B&D abandoning with good right his support there, and this means that likely this dragon is going to go over freely to DCT.
Yeah, problem which we see all game, the second game as well, is the Bard who gets caught out everywhere. Which is questionable, but he should play it more safe though.
Yeah, I agree. His intentions are to get wards down. What an interesting deadly flourish right there. Anyway, his intentions are to get more wards down in enemy jungle, which, I mean, it's a good idea, right? But he just doesn't have the pressure, doesn't have the backup to actually get them down safely. Certainly so tightly before the dragon, meaning that Nunu is almost certainly going to be bot lane. Yeah, making it rough on him several times in this series so far, and I really hope we get to see a change from that later.
Yeah, all the deaths are on the bot side from TSA.
Yeah. So now with the Ocean Drake picked up by DCT, the next Drake is going to spawn. It does not look like. It does look like they're going to go hard for this. In fact, they're going so hard that the Ezreal has no way of getting out. Master Yi is looking for some counter pressure in mid lane, but it is not resulting in much. Yeah, that was typically what you want to see from a Rakan. Ult, flash, no, not even a flash, just W forward, getting the CC onto Rose B&D. Rose B&D with the Arcane Shift didn't even get to use his flash, in fact, to get away. So very well played by Shaman K and Finish Speed to get the kill. Jhin is now on 2-0 and Nunu on 2-1.
And as well, this time again, the Blindenboom, which looks around the map, Ars in time, gets damage, gets his skill participation on point.
Yeah, definitely. Steaming Buns now looking for a fight onto our Blindenboom. We see on the mini-map that both Graves and Bard are roaming towards top lane, but are they even necessary? Our Blindenboom, very, very rough, and he gets solo killed in the top lane. And meanwhile, Rose B&D getting called out once more by Shaman K and Finish Fleet, sending him back to base for the third time. Rough game in the bot side, but good plays by Steamy Buns, getting the kill onto Blindenboom.
Yeah, two teams have a clear winning condition. So TSA plays around their top side and DCT around their bot side. So
yeah,
it's working out, but not particularly well for TSA.
Yeah, I'm definitely wondering how it is possible that Rose B&D specifically gets called out so often this game. Already sent 3 times to base by the dives from Shaman K. But certainly here the fact that he dies, respawns, goes back to lane and instantly dies again does raise some questions from my side about how he is, how that actually happened and why.
Yeah, that's a tilter.
Possible. Yeah.
Shaman K is already in his head, so talking about the draft for next game, I hope enemy team is finally going to consider the Nunu ban, because we see exceptionally well plays by Shaman K. Is everywhere pressure. He has 5 of the 6. He has 5 kill participation out of 6. So.
Oh, Steamy Buns going forward, but there is backup for Yuli. Yuli now together with Funny Speed doing some damage back onto Steamy Buns. Steamy Buns falling a bit low, and it looks like they're considering a dive, but not if Jhin is taking the tower, so they back off. Okay. Our Blindenboom meanwhile in the bot side preparing some vision around the dragon that will be spawning in 1.5 minutes.
And we see the Victor, which has no kill participation, no deaths, but he has a gold lead.
Oh boy, never mind. But Funny here is engaging, gets called out it looks like, but he doesn't because there's also Shaman K. Again in the right place. Now, Steamy Buns and White Roger are 2v2, but there is also a tower. Yuli getting caught up by Bob Lord, but it is not enough. Bob Lord has not enough pressure here with him to actually get an ult off, therefore he's going to have to flash away himself. Finish Plea and Zork Exile continue to fight, but Master Yi is just waiting in the bush, blows up Finish Plea before almost getting blown up himself. Bobbler also falling. I think it's a 1-for-1.
And we see again the Dash Jhin working out, getting the 4th shot into the face due to the extended range.
Yeah, definitely.
Very impressive.
Shaman
and
K.
the Nunu again, again at the right point at the right time. So
Yeah. Yeah, very impressive, honestly. Shaman K, I don't think he's been in the wrong lane or the wrong place the entire series so far. 2 early games just flawlessly played.
MVP of the match again.
Yeah, definitely.
So far. We see a goal difference again. Only 15 minutes into the game, 5k gold difference. So this is not going too well for TSA.
Yeah. I mean, last game we saw this 6k gold, 5k gold difference popping up as well, but then only after like 8 minutes, 23 minutes in the game instead of 15 minutes in the game. So definitely looking like a bit more of a rough game as the screen shortly froze. My apologies. TSA Link starting up the dragon, but they are not alone. There's 4 people and almost 5 people from DCT, and there's definitely 5 people from TSCA. But ultimately, DCT is not going to fight for this Drake. They're in fact looking to grab some exit frags, here as you would call them in CSGO, because DCT has some solid engage here. The ultimate from Malzahar onto Nunu. Make sure that Shaman K is going to fall together with Funny's Lee, who's trying to help him out. Very good kills in favor of TCA, closing the gold gap, grabbing the dragon. It looks like there might still be hope for them.
They pull out their hope out of nowhere. It seems like their head is still not empty.
Yeah, definitely.
Still have a lot of tricks.
There is there's some like case to be made for TCA here for some really good plays left and right. In fact, I think it mainly was here some over engaging for Shaman K, expecting for him to be more tanky than he actually was, getting called out, dying, and
the Malzahar are pointing click tilt.
Oh boy, Ornn finding an engage onto Yuli. Ornn is very good at killing AD carries, and Jin is very bad at killing tanks. Having to flash away from the smoke screen from Graves ultimately does keep him alive, but that does mean that next fight he is vulnerable to any form of engage, specifically from Ornn. Steamy Buns is looking for more pressure because Yuli is not allowed to base.
We see on TSA's side a very fat Ornn, a very fat Graves. So they have the kills, but not certainly on the right target, and with that I mean the Ornn. The Ornn has, the gold lead is even due to the fact that he has a lot of, farm difference. So
yeah.
Although we would say, he has 2 kills more, 1 assist more, but.
Yeah, I think one of the most interesting differences in like strength currently is in the bot lane. We saw Roseby and D dying 3 times in lane, now only sitting on the Manamune, the Muramana in fact, not even having finished his Divine Cinder yet, whereas Jin with the Gale Force and as well as a serrated Dirk and Pickaxe, he's going to do a lot of damage, I can tell you that much.
Sure.
Yeah, Master Yi.
We see this time. Oh, go for it.
Okay, I was about to say that they were going to look towards a top lane play, but it looks like they might be thwarted. Never mind, here comes the Call of the Force God. Jin doesn't have a flash or whatever, so he has to dodge. And he just straight up dodges everything. That is really impressive. Finish speed, now engaging, getting a 3-man knockup, and that allows for a very clean disengage. Yuli with the side steps, very easy getaway.
Yeah, we see again the Gale Force use. You can use it aggressively, you can also use it defensively to dodge an Ornn R when you have no flash, so.
Yeah, very important. I also want to call back our thoughts to yesterday where we saw Yuli surviving an engage from, oh boy, that's a flash from both BND. Trying to get away from the Chaos Storm, and it's going to be enough to survive for now, but again, AD carry, blows flash, very vulnerable. Anyway, I was telling you about yesterday where Yuli was surviving an engage from a Xerath ult from Kayn engaging onto him, and he just dodged everything, and he's doing it again today.
This time we see Zorka playing a whole different style, of which we are used to see him. He's playing it very safe, very controlled, very farmly, and getting into the late game.
Whoa, Bob Lord losing his shield because of the snowball, and that means that he is very likely dead. In fact, he is very much dead, respawning back to base.
So, we see only the bot lane from TSA not completing their mythic item.
Oh boy, Shaman K fighting left and right, still even after the early game, continuing to find creative flanks with his snowball and getting a lot of pressure. Now nothing happened this time, but still very, very impressive work by Shaman K.
He's everywhere. Everywhere at the same time.
Yes, meanwhile, the dragon will be spawning. A previous Drake, in fact, went to TSCA, resulting in the soul being delayed, with the potential soul for DCT being delayed by 5 more minutes. Also, after the last dragon take, there was a very good fight for TSCA, so we'll see how this one goes, in fact. Meanwhile, we also see that Ornn hit level 13, meaning that he got his Forgefire crest instead of the Sunfire Aegis. So he's starting to become rather tanky, and like he's going to be very obnoxious to deal with later and later in this game. That's a Ghost Barrel onto 2 non-priority targets.
No, again, rolling in.
Yeah, here we go.
Searching opportunities.
Biggest snowball ever. I don't know which one actually was, but he's going to look for it once more. This time he finds the wall. Ezreal using his True Shot Barrage. And here we go. Ornn, God of the Forge Gold, going onto the Jhin, using his Gale Force, but it's not enough to get out of the thing this time. But there is a Victor! Massive stun, massive damage with the Chaos Storm, and now a slaughter for of TCT, TSCA by DCT, and that means that there's Baron. Yeah.
They're splitting up the objectives. 2 people onto the Nashor. Okay, they're not going to consider even the Drake. They are giving it to the enemy team, but going for the Nashor to get their tempo up.
Yeah.
And as you said, we see that Victor, he played for this moment the whole game long. He farmed to get his 3-man stun impressive with his R, blowing up their entire backline.
Yeah, I definitely agree. It looks like Erblindeboom is going to prepare the dragon for in a moment. The reason why they're not starting the dragon here is because the dragon is going to be a very slow win condition. They currently want to use Nashor to get a bit more early pressure. And then use the dragon later as a late game option to go for, I think.
And well played by GP, just defending the Drake, so don't giving an opportunity for a soul for the Ornn.
Yeah, definitely.
Very well played.
Yeah, this time we see a Mountain Drake, a Mountain Soul in fact. Not the most interesting of souls as thought by many. But still very, very helpful for example, Shaman K, increasing a lot of his armor that he is actually stacking. To really unhandleable amounts for example, the Graves, for example, the Ezreal. So yeah, it's going to be a tough fight the longer this game goes. Now, question, where is DCT going to look for plays? Are they going to go 5-0-0 or what are they going to do? Like splitting or grouping?
Most likely the 1-3-1 with Nunu going everywhere, as we see now.
Nunu going fast, boy! But he doesn't actually find a target.
Yeah, now he's going back to support. Oh, do we see Jhin going top lane? No, okay, that was the last cone. He's getting back to mid. And we see the Nunu hanging around everywhere.
Yeah, indeed. Nunu still finding pressure all over the map. Very impressive.
But the 1-3-1 and yeah, TSA has to respond. They have nothing to do else. They have the Nashor on the DCT side. So pushing is very easy. Getting the towers, getting the gold lead even further into their pocket.
Something to keep an eye on for a 1-3-1 split push is the question, can DCT set it up such that they will have pressure in all 3 lanes at the same time? In fact, they're going for the 0-4-1 this time.
Yeah.
But the question is, are they going to be able to have pressure in all lanes at the same time? This is something that you see a lot go wrong in solo queue, because somebody is split pushing and then they're not paying attention to if they have pressure, and then they just get caught and die and there's nothing in return. But for now, DCT seems to be able to do it. In fact, they are taking a very greedy path, looking for an engage. Rose BND already getting tagged by the curtain call. He's very low and the curtain call is still running. Now it's over, meaning that he does survive, but Funnysplee probably looking to take a quick dip to base after a good poke session from DCT.
They got their 2 starter turrets. They got their 2 turrets, so getting back to base, getting the fast recalls, and then going to top side most likely. Or just keeping the pressure up on the tower.
It looks like they might want to go for the latter, and we see the Tempered Fate onto the Jhin, answered immediately by the Cannon Barrage, and that means that Bard has no way out, getting freaking deaded, and Bob Lord using his staring contest onto Nunu, does get a kill in return. Yuli getting called out and finished Pli already dead, meaning 4 kills go in return in favor of TCA, making their stand, taking kills, and only Gangplank walks away.
TCA finds opportunities everywhere. They have so little to play with, but still they find the opportunities to get back into the game, although they have still a 8k gold difference.
Yeah, honestly, it's very impressive that TCA is still finding avenues here and there to fight back. We saw that the second dragon, or the first mountain dragon, the third dragon that they took. And we see it again here with the inhibitor push. It does make me wonder if that is more the mistake by the Dutch community team, if they are over-forcing their hand a little bit, or if that is just very, very well done by TCA, or a combination of both, of course.
I think it's the last one, over-forcing stuff. They could, as I said, just go base, have the fast recalls, resetting the map, but they opted for the greedy pot and just keep the pressure on bot side, and they get punished for it.
Yeah, definitely. And in fact, in game 1, we already mentioned the one way for TCA Link back then was a complete overforce from the side of DCT. Then they didn't. This time they do, and you directly see the payoff in favor of TCA, getting back inch by inch. They're still 8k gold behind, but, oh yeah, 8k, but that actually was 10k only a minute ago.
So, making the difference smaller, but still a large gap.
Yeah, definitely.
The victory is huge. The GP is huge. So, and the Jin as well. So they have the gold on the right people to play with.
Yeah.
On the other side, they have the Fat Orn, which is questionable.
Yeah, I definitely agree.
You would rather see a Fat S than a Fat Orn.
Now, it looks like... yeah, I agree. I think a fat tank is going to be nice until he dies and then doesn't do any damage, basically. Hasn't done any damage. Yeah, we're seeing the Dutch community team setting up for their third Drake. Also Shaman K, dropping a snowball in the mid lane. Anyway, the Dutch community team setting up for their third Drake of the game. Looking to push it towards Soul Point, but TSCA is not willing to let this go down easy into the quiet night. So they are looking to provide some counter pressure, but I'm not sure they're going to be able to make it there, as their entire jungle is dark. In fact, I can toggle the blue set vision, and yeah, there's nothing here to walk into from blue team.
Yeah, blue team now has to get vision around Nashor. Stop that, because in my opinion, if they now get Nashor DCT, the game is over. That's the last attempt.
Yeah, it's going to be
DCT
very hard.
Considering for the bot. Okay, they have the bot slow push, and now they're going to reset. And I'm looking for the Nashor.
Yeah, I think it's going to be very hard for TSCA Link to get a proper counterplay on this Nashor. So they would really have to look for a good fight, picking off Yuli, picking off Zorka XL, in order to extend the fight and try and get something back. But again, that is very hard to do when you are in, well, again, almost a 10k deficit. It's like 8.5k currently.
And now we see also the Victor with his Rabadons completed. So he will be massive next team fight. We saw what he could do without the Rabadons on the backline. That is not a very...
Yeah, definitely.
What you want to see on the other side if you're playing the SRL, if you're playing the Malzahar, you don't want to see this Victor in your face.
Yeah, we also see Victor already level 16, meaning he has access to his level 3 ultimate. That is very, very strong. We saw it deal damage at, I think, after the second dragon fight. Now, watch it go again after this Baron, because it is a lot of damage that TSCA Link cannot afford to tank.
Important as well is to know that the Malzahar doesn't have his flash up, so he can't make the really good play, flash R, and then watching someone die.
Yeah, all we just saw briefly was that White Roger... Oh, never mind. Okay, no, yeah, okay, I've got time. We saw White Roger trying to hit Jin with a Tempered Fate, but Jin using his Gale Force to dash out of the range of it and managing to escape. Now, curiously, Shaman K is actually looking towards playing some bot side pressure, which I find a bit strange, because this time could be used by DCT to start the Baron. In fact, they are starting the Baron, but now Nuno is going to be a bit late.
They are really giving the Graves no opportunity to scale, no opportunity to farm. Even his red buff, when Nashor is up, is not for him, so... They have to fight now in the Fog of War in contest.
Yeah, there's absolutely nothing to be seen, therefore they're also late. But here we go, the Call of the Forge Gold coming in, flash away from Finish Flea, but also on the other side they engage from Jin. But he directly gets knocked up by the Orc, doing a lot of damage. But Jin flashes over the wall and therefore he stays alive. Now, it is a bit of a problem for Boblord. Boblord using his ult and then the Zhonya to stay alive for as long as possible. But it is not going to be enough because there is the Gangplank, Erbin Demo, doing work and work and work and doing a lot of damage in those teamfights. Jimmy Bun's now the only one still standing. That's not true, there's also Rose B&D. In fact, only Rose B&D is still standing, but he's recalling near the enemy red buff in a lot of pressure and in a lot of trouble.
And now the gold lead is more than 10k, so this means not game for now. They still okay, now they can't end. They have one last team fight.
BNB gets called out by another snowball and flash from Shaman K just to show dominance. Tanking some extra tower shots.
This could be game though.
Yeah,
this could be game ending.
It looks like Master Yeast is going to be together with Ryan Roger in order to stop this 5-man push, but it is going to be rough. Certainly if the knock up the ground entrance from Finish Flea hits, Master Yi is getting blown up immediately. Right Roger with the Tempered Fate, but there goes the Nexus. That's the end of game 2, again in favor of DCT, 2-0.
Well played DCT. The Zorka, he plays it all. He plays the very aggressive laners and gets the kills, the solo lane kills. Now he plays the scaling game, he plays it well, it doesn't die. The Zorka, the jungler, all around the map. Killing everyone, being everywhere, and then the Jin and the GP are just playing around wonderfully.
Yes, indeed.
Made some mistakes with getting caught by Ornn, getting 1v1, getting slam dunked, and not respecting the damage out of him.
Yes, we are going to go into a short break again. It will be only a few minutes before we will be right back at you with the third and potentially the final game of this series. We're going to find out if we are going to get a reverse sweep or if we're going to get a other outcome, basically. If any other outcome will give DCT the victory. So
Silver Scrapes, boys.
Yes, yeah, maybe. We'll see.
We want to have it. Give me.
We're going to be right back, so see you later. So a very good evening for the third time tonight, because we are looking at the third game of this series, while DCT, the Dutch community team, is leading 2-0. Now, before we're going to head into Champ Select, I've got something pretty cool to show you, because there is a very interesting Discord server. It's in Dutch, so my apologies, but it's the biggest Dutch Discord server, or the Discord community for League of Legends. So if you're looking for a duo queue partner, a 5-team or a flex queue partner, a flex queue team in fact, or even a clash team, you can head over to lolew.nl and join the Discord server there. It's a very dandy server. I'm in there myself as well, and it's very nice to just hang around with other people and play with other people that you might not otherwise get to know. So if you feel like finding a good community for the Dutch esports scene, in specifically League of Legends, then by all means go to loleus.nl and have a good time. Now, before we go into our next game, let's put up our faces again. You already mentioned to me something in the break. What are you hoping to see in the differently in the next Champ Select?
An Ornn ban. Give me, please. I beg you.
Yes.
The Ornn is just too oppressive.
The Nunu, I mean.
They don't know how to play around it. They get caught everywhere.
Do you mean the Nunu specifically or the Ornn?
The Nunu.
Yeah,
the Nunu. Yeah. They can't play around it. They get caught everywhere, and that's the lead, which gets them through the game. So.
Cool.
I hope there's a learning lesson, and they don't make the mistake for the third time, and then I think a lot of ways open to win the game. But
yeah.
Nunu is just everywhere and stomping everywhere.
Yeah.
Everyone.
Now there is an important notice, something to take note of, and that is in fact that TSTA Link is using a sub. Their support will be going to the bench, and Asarak will now take over the support role for the TSTA Link. So, we saw the support from TSTA getting called out a couple of times on Bard, not having the greatest game, so maybe that's a very wise choice.
Who's now playing? Is it with Okay, the champion pool has a bit changed, because now the support plays more scaling bot lane. So the Zillion, so the Seraphine, the Lulu, they also can play Naut and Leona. So it's gonna be interesting what's gonna be shifting in the bot lane.
Okay.
We see a more scaling bot and a more aggressive mid lane.
Okay, and meanwhile we see in Twitch chat a lot of we're going to reverse sweep them now from TSCA Link. So hey, who knows? Maybe it's going to happen. I am rooting for you guys. I am always willing to see a very exciting long series. It's going to take some effort though. You're going to really need to turn up the gas and go at it, because it's not looking pretty, I gotta say.
Yeah, a lot of ways still. They can win, but just the small bans, the draft, I think, is their way to win the game. They just now focus on the bans, focus on the right people to ban, and win, and then they could have an easy win. Easy win is maybe not the right word, but they could have a win on their hand. Yeah,
something to note is that because TSCA Link lost the previous game, they had side selection in game 3. They opted to go to a blue side again. So who knows? Maybe they're going to make a good use of the blue side here with the draft.
Or first pick. I see it. I see it now.
Yeah, I
call it.
I'm still confused as to why they banned the Shen on the blue side. In fact, I think they should drop the Shen ban and put the Nunu ban instead. And then exactly, and lock it in themselves, or force the Dutch community team to ban it instead. So we'll see if that happens.
I hope they're listening to the stream and take notice.
Well, they're listening to the stream for sure, because they are responding in chat. So we're not working for them, of course.
Give me the Ornn ban, boys.
Nunu.
Nunu. Yeah, same. Thank you, boys.
Same chonkers, yes, definitely. The pro draft is being created, so give us a couple of minutes before we get into Champ Select. Before that, we definitely have some things to discuss, because we saw Zorka XL. Right now, we saw him in game 1, and also yesterday we saw him on the Yone, and he was just popping off. This game, we saw him on the Victor. He was a bit more like in the back line, a bit less noticeable, but he was still very impactful in the team fights when it mattered. So, what is Zorka going to do? Is he going to like get his hands on another aggressive champion or another passive champion? Does it even matter what he gets? Is he going to smurf anyway?
I think it's the last part, because the red side, they have the opportunity to counter pick, so I think he's going to play whatever the team needs, and he's going to play counter pick mid. So again,
yeah, definitely has been having the upper hand against Poplord, who has been struggling in the mid lane. And that has a very, very large effect. But this like upper hand has mainly been handed through him by Shaman K. Shaman K, very aggressive in the early game. Just throwing Nunu snowballs all over the place, finding ganks, kills left and right, and that just gives them the early lead, gives the Dutch community team the early lead to snowball this out of hand. So, definitely, again, coming back, Zorka's strength, Shaman K's strength, all back coming to the Nunu. So, we'll see if this ends up being something. Yeah, the top lane, we saw our Blindeboom picking Mordekaiser in game 1. And Mordekaiser got banned out into game 2, so he opted for the Gangplank instead. 2 more carry-oriented top laners. Do you think that he's going to continue with the carries? Is he going to swap around to something else? What is going to happen?
In the bans.
In the bans, in the picks, what is Blindeboom? Is he going to? Do you think he's going to opt for like more carries? Is he going to stand by and grab a tank?
I think he's again more like going to play we support the bot lane and we play around them kind of champion. As we saw from the previous game, bot lanes / mid games are win conditions. So if he just plays an Ornn top, they maybe have an insta win on their hands. So he doesn't need to go for the GPE, go for the hard matchups, but he can just go for whatever he wants to.
And
we see the Nunu ban, boys!
The instant snap ban on the Nunu, really wanted it out of there, and with good right. Also the Swain, the Musty, and the Volibear finding themselves on the bench.
And again they do the Shen ban.
The Shen is still sitting there, interesting.
So which ban did they not do this time? The Rakan, was it a Rakan? No,
No. The Rakan got picked up last time.
Oh, the Pantheon.
Yeah, the Pantheon is now available. You're absolutely right. Rakan picked up by TCA Link. Asarak already having a new wind blow for TCA Link, because the Rakan was not something that looked like was going to be picked last game. And now a pick away from Funny Splee. Thresh still open, still available of course, but the Rakan is not going to be something Funny Splee is going to pick this game. For the third game in a row, Jhin for Yuli. Any thoughts?
The Jhin pick is just like blowing my mind. And the Pantheon now, okay. Bot lane is going to be a stomp lane. So as we predict, most likely top lane will be a tank and would be the scaling.
Yeah,
Jhin is just going to be massive again.
Jhin Pantheon looking to be the bot lane and definitely is a very strong lane. Hard CC.
It's the Pantheon flex. It's the Pantheon flex and he could go into the mid lane.
Definitely.
Zorka.
Oh, we see the Malphite pickup actually. Banned away last game in second phase, so this time TCA Link not hesitating and just grabbing it for themselves. Alongside the Ashe, much more of a clear engaged comp coming already from TCA Link. I think that's a good sign. I think that is something that's much more easy to execute.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Very linear and very, very clear on what they want to do.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. Okay, the science. The only thing is, where's the Pantheon going? Is it mid? Is it bot? Because I know Pantheon support is now not top tier at the moment due to the bans. So yeah. Yeah,
I definitely agree. And I'm honestly thinking it might be a Pantheon mid, depending on the matchup that it's getting. Because knowing Zorka, he likes to play aggressive. I believe yesterday he played it as well, the Pantheon mid, against TCA Red at that time. Anyway, the mid laners and the junglers are still available. Silas and Graves looking to be banned now. Dutch community team again focusing their... Oh no, they're actually spreading with Galio now. Silas is a very common ban from TCA Link. And let's see what they ban as last champion. I'm wondering if it's another jungle ban, like something that has early game pressure. Think of the Olaf or something.
Okay,
there you go.
Yeah.
Sniping.
It's like Cupid Pan. Yeah, the Olaf, very oppressive, very strong now. because we know that basic attacks don't apply the burn anymore, but spells do. But Olaf still uses a lot of spells, so that's why Graves now less as a slower clear, but Olaf still has a really fast clear.
Yeah, and we see the
Not very
Kha'Zix pickup from the Dutch community team.
Okay.
Not something new. I believe he picked this before in the tournament, so definitely something we've seen before. But that does mean that Dutch community team has a very attack damage skewed team.
Yeah.
And you know what champions are good into attack damage? You have Malphite and you have Rammus. Those two skill incredibly hard on armor, and they are definitely picked up by TCA Link here. Meaning that Jhin and Pantheon, Sion and Kha'Zix might have a very big wall they need to face before they can actually start doing damage.
Okay, yeah, this draft is going very well in favor of TSA indeed. Yeah, the only lane still to be picked for DCT is the support. I'm very curious if they're gonna pick a Vel'Koz or stuff support, or if they're gonna do the Pantheon into the bot lane.
So, expecting the Pantheon to go mid lane, I think. We see the set pickup for Boblord. Interesting in the mid lane. I have not seen set in the mid lane for a while now.
And they're gonna pick the Malzahar. Come on, Halberd.
Picking the Malzahar here would be very, very tilting for Boblord, I think. So it would be very strong mental.
It's the middle finger.
It's locked in.
It's the middle finger.
Definitely. So that does mean that Dutch community team does not have a large amount of reliable magic damage, I gotta say. Malzahar definitely is a thing, but it is rough to make it work like all the time.
Yeah. If he gets behind, he doesn't deal any damage, and he's just a CC ball.
Exactly. So I think Malphite and Rammus are really happy here in this game. They're really looking to build a lot of armor and then a bit of magic resist. Also, in fact, Sunfire Aegis already comes with a bunch of magic resist. So that's already a thing. So Malphite and Rammus are going to be very chunky boys, and Jhin and Pantheon and Kha'Zix are going to have a rough time dealing with them. Okay, in the meanwhile we see that...
Malphite into the Sion. How is the lane going?
Sion actually has a decent time there, because he's very good at fighting tanks. We see him, for example, beating Orange left and right. So I think Steamy Buns is not going to have like an easy lane by all means, but I'm pretty sure it's just going to be a kind of... if both players play it right, it's just going to be a bad noodle fight and nothing really is going to happen. Really Shaman K or Master Yeez need to come top lane before something really starts to occur there. I'm interested in what your thoughts are actually about the mid lane, because the Malzahar into set. Who is favored? Early levels, mid levels, late levels? What's going to happen?
It's most likely like the set 1v1s the Malzahar all the time. The only moment is where Malzahar has his R and has a gank that they can do something, but Set just runs at Malzahar, pops his passive, and then knocks him back and slaps him to the death.
Definitely. How valuable is the Malzahar passive going to be this game? We saw last game it just got popped every time by, for example, the Gangplank ult.
Yeah, now the engage from Set is now very hard. He has to play it very secure and very clean. Because Eing and Malzahar in his passive is like pointless, so first proccing with either attack or with the W and then going for it is the way to go.
Even the W using it. Okay, fair enough. We know it early game Malzahar passive has a very long cooldown, so once it's procced, I think it's 90 seconds of not taking any damage, and to late game it's only 40 seconds or 45 seconds, I believe.
Yeah, it's 40.
40, I think. Okay. So it's gonna be okay for Malzahar until his passive gets procced, and then it's going to be a rough lane because Set can run at him fast. Also,
yes.
If ever Rammus decides to show up, he's not going to be able to get away unless he has his flash available. So we're going to have to see if that is something that's going to be problematic. Now, in the bot lane, we see Rakan Ashe, which is generally a relatively safe lane, can poke decently with, for example, the Ashe W, the volley, as well as and keep a good vision of where Kha'Zix is with the hookshot. But it's against the Jhin and the Pantheon. And something that Jhin and Pantheon do very well is lock you down. It is just fight you early and kill you hard. Yeah, exactly. It's just you're not going to be able to do much once you get Pantheon stunned. So I'm wondering how that's going to happen. Like Ashe has some decent disengage with her, like the slow on everything she does. But is it going to be enough for Finish playing Uni to not be able to get on top of Ashe?
Yeah, Ashe just has to farm from a distance, and then they should be fine. And probably again we will see both junglers potting to bot side, and hopefully the Rammus gets her first, and then they can have an engage on their hands, which could be very valuable.
Valuable, yes.
Valuable. That's the word. I was like, I'm not pronouncing it right. So very valuable for TSEA, because if the Ashe gets ahead and the Pantheon gets behind, we know what Mickey did on Pantheon. When being behind, you're just going 110.
Yeah, definitely. Pantheon can definitely struggle to have a significant impact if you don't snowball the game. We saw that a lot in the LCK, in the LEC, in the LCS. So it can definitely have a similar impact here in this tournament as well.
I'm very curious to see how the new Pantheon support works, because
Yeah.
I know that Riot was trying to ban him and trying to get him out of there.
Yeah, indeed, you are absolutely correct there. Not even is Pantheon like it was already rough once you get behind. He even got nerfed on specifically support further, meaning that it's going to be even more rough once you don't get behind. I don't get ahead. Excuse me. Now, are we going to see anything level 1? Are we going to see anything level 3? Like, what are the early levels are going to look like? What are they going to look like?
Yeah, both teams could have possibly an invade comp, but I hope not that TSEA is going to invade due to the fact that the enemy team has a sign, and if they're gonna stack again, this could be devastating for TSEA.
Yeah, definitely. Something we've seen before is a Saiyan charging his devastating charge in the bush, like, oh, and then you just all walk into it and just get knocked up with the 5 of them. Yeah, definitely a possibility for TSEA Link to get subjected
then they
to.
can already FF.
Then it's just over. Yeah. As we are heading towards the end of this third spectator delay, we'll go into the game actually shortly. So bear with us for a couple of a minute or something more. The third game, potentially, as I already mentioned earlier, the last game of this series and the last game of this tournament. TCT looking very strong, but on the other side, TSCA looking to grab the game back. I'm going to show you the different screen real quick, but you can still hear this. Don't go away yet, because the game is coming up shortly. I just need to make sure that Maxime can see what the hell is going on.
Yeah.
So you can see it. That's good. That's good to hear. Now, are we going
on the set? Okay, it's fleet footwork, so no phase rush, no
Aftershock.
no predator, no aftershock. So
yeah, fair enough.
Questionable. New, refreshing, going for the 1v1s as we mentioned, going to kill the Zorka, and giving him back what he did with the Yone.
Yeah, hopefully.
Straight into his face.
If you are a TSCA fan, you definitely want to see the set pop off. Zorka slapping him across the face several times and just destroying him. But we'll see if that actually happens. I definitely hope that if that happens, that we get a proper series, a proper game. Because it has been feeling a little bit one-sided so far.
Exactly, yeah. And we see now the 5-man covers, so...
Yeah, neither team is looking for an early game play, it seems.
Just standard.
Yeah, the first Drake this time is going to be a Mountain Drake. So I don't think it's going to have a lot of focus by either Shaman K or Master Yeez in the early game. But maybe Shaman K just wants to burn, or Master Yeez either way, just wants to burn through it as quickly as possible to get a better opportunity for next Drake.
Likely, yes.
We'll see. For now, very much nothing happening.
See the cleanse on Jhin, by the way.
Oh, that's a good catch.
For the Ashe engage. Always, just when enemy team picks an Ashe, as you already see, just pick cleanse, just for sake of not dying 24/7.
Yeah, I agree. I also think for example, the what you call it, the charm from Asrak is going to be very very hard to deal with if it's not for the cleanse. The taunt from Master Yeast for going the same thing. Boblord has a stun available now and then, so definitely a wise choice for the cleanse. Yeah, what we see for the junglers. This time they're starting on different sides of the map. Ram is starting in the bot side and Kha'Zix starting in the top side, both on their red buff. This means that there's going to be a disparity in both the top and the mid lane, both the top and the bot lane for when they get to lane. Here we see already the lane from Stevie Buns pushing out, and the first stun already lands onto Zorka, showing dominance is Boblord. That's really really good for him.
But he takes a lot of minion damage though.
Yeah, but
So
he is showing dominance.
Yeah, exactly. That's what is important after getting 2 games shit stomped.
Oof, shit
Certainly the first game.
Yeah.
But we see Rammus going for a full clear. Maybe it's just going for level 3, then into mid lane. We'll see.
But on the other
I
side,
hope he's not going to do a full clear.
We see Kha'Zix doing the same thing, starting on his red buff, going towards the Krugs, and then moving towards Raptors now. So looking very mirrored now. Kha'Zix, however, is making a little bit of a move towards Boblord. Boblord pushed up is very vulnerable. Getting the stun onto Zorka is useful and does a lot of damage, but it is not enough.
Rolling in.
Yeah, definitely. I'm going to jump back here because Boblord is taking a lot of damage, going low, using his W to get the damage back and the shield as well. So ultimately he does survive, but for Shaman K already providing pressure in the early game as per usual.
Yeah, Shaman K, even if he's not on a very aggressive jungler, he still finds the opportunity level 3 ganks. He loves it.
Yeah, now the difference between Kha'Zix and Nunu, of course, is going to be that Kha'Zix is going to have a lot harder time finding a significant impact in later fights. Nunu, with the snowball, is always going to be like very strong, but Kha'Zix needs to find those isolated targets. And that's going to be rough the later the game goes on, as long as TSCA obviously plays it coordinatedly. As soon as TSCA starts falling apart, yeah, then Kha'Zix is going to have a field day, blowing people up left and right. Before we get there, we first have the early game to get through. Boblord walking forward, in fact making use of the Voidlings from Malzahar brilliantly to get the stun, and then also first blood and a solo kill. Now Kha'Zix is mid lane, but we also see a fight in the bot lane. Nothing happens there, and in fact Boblord walks away. Very well played. Zorka XL apparently counterpicked himself because Boblord knows how this matchup goes.
TSCA fans are watching this, getting everyone involved. Sending a message, please come watch. It's our game. We're getting the silver scrapes. The mid lane is ours.
Yeah,
have control back.
This definitely looks more promising than it did last game. Very well played. Now let's see if he can keep it up. Also, Steamy Buns getting a bit of a rough trade. As I already mentioned in the Champ Select, Cyan does do a lot of damage. In fact, surprisingly much damage, even against a tank like Steamy Buns. So, yeah, that's going to be a thing. CSD not really present just yet, but that might start building later. And in fact, looking at the CSD, something very surprising in my opinion is that Set is starting to pull ahead of the Malzahar. As we see a very speedy Steamy Buns real quick after his teleport back to base, back to lane. But yeah, so Set starting to pull ahead of Malzahar in CS, or at least very well keeping up with him. That is not something you very often see in a melee versus range matchup. So Zorka definitely feeling the pressure as Steamy Buns walking forward. Everyone having no mana left is going to be a rough fight, but there's a lot of minions. Steamy Buns taking a lot of damage. In fact, the damage is not going to be enough to kill him. Now, Erbinibom, it is passive, chasing Steamy Buns all the way back to the tower, and Steamy Buns have to flash, in fact, in order to survive that. That is a rough spot, buddy. Now Kha'Zix looking if he can get the kill there. It does not look like it. In fact, it might look like it because Erbinibom is teleporting back there immediately. Kha'Zix jumping in, getting the kill. 1-0 for Kha'Zix. Good response from the Dutch community team.
Exactly. Apparently I was looking at the stream, I was like, nobody's flashing, what are you talking about? That was the moment when I realized I was not looking at the real-time footage. So I was 3 seconds too late.
Yeah.
Well executed by DCT, although Cyan disrespected the Malphite damage. He still has a farm lead of 20 CS.
definitely. Now, the question is Bob Lord going to be able to pull ahead further, or is Zorka XL realizing his position and going to play a bit safer in the mid lane? For now, it looks like Zorka XL is fine, but he doesn't have mana. Zed doesn't have mana either, but that is a thing that is normal for him. So
yeah, exactly. Imagine being Zed and having mana.
Yes, exactly. Now, that does mean that we see an engage. Finishly going to the Rose BNT. Asarak directly responding and trying to prevent the damage. Now, here comes also Yeez rolling in. Flash away from Yuli, but Finishly is caught between a rock and a hard rock and gets the kill. Now, Seth trying to jump away from Shaman K, but Zorka gets the kill there as well. Bob Lord getting killed after a good gank from Shaman K.
Yeah, it's clear that Shaman K always plays around mid lane and they win via mid and then getting their lead into other lanes, so
yeah,
they're a good duo together.
Keeping up the pressure in the top lane. Simi Buns is a Malphite, but still having a bit of a rough lane here against the Sion.
Actually, the Drake is not so bad for TSEA.
Yeah,
getting more tanky, getting more of that juicy armor.
Ooh, Finish B looking very aggressive, but the rest is there of the team, meaning that there's going to be a jump over the wall from Asarak as well as a flash over the wall from Master Yeast. 5 minutes until that's back available. The classic Ram is clear. Press W and stand there.
And we see now bot lane from TSEA recalling, and Ram is checking the red buff. Okay, but he knows 2 people are on there. I'm giving it away. You can take it.
Yeah, good awareness from Master Yeast that he did not have the means available to challenge for that. Well, that's a quick knockup. Anyway, so he backs off, rolls to his top side of the jungle, starts doing his wolves and then his gromp, and then will probably reset or look for a top lane pressure. And meanwhile, Rose BND, we have seen this story before in the previous game, getting caught up behind his own tower and Jhin picking up the glory.
We've seen this many times already. Same story, different game.
Yeah, that is really rough. I think by now he should have realized, we see Zorka XL with the pressure of Airblindeboom looking to go very aggressive. The silence lance, meaning that Master G's cannot just roll away, and in fact the tick damage from the Space Age is good enough to kill him.
So yeah, the gold DCT already has a gold lead again. They're punishing the small mistakes.
Yeah.
And we see the Pantheon roaming top, not giving a damn for Yuli. He can play on his own, he can play it safe. Yeah, definitely. The DCT currently playing very much by the book, but that by no means means that they're taking it relatively slow. They are going fast. Twister.
They're going fast, and they're going fast by the book, and it's hard to deal with for TSCA Link. But the team composition from TSCA Link is okay with falling behind a little bit. They're very tanky. They're going to be very hard to kill. So the question is going to be, how far can the Dutch community team pull ahead? And is it going to be enough to actually win the game?
One way to find out. That's watching.
Exactly.
And we see Ocean Drake coming up in 2 minutes and 40 seconds. So hopefully TSA can grab this one as well to get even more tanky. And then then we have a Fire Soul or a Cloud Soul. Yeah, exactly. And the Fire Soul is going to be, or the Infernal Soul is going to be very, very advantageous for Yuli and Zorka, I think. Much more than for TSCA Red. TSCA Link, my apologies. TSCA Link, because Dutch community really needs the damage. The Wind Drake, the Wind Soul, is going to be very good for Bob Lord, for Master Yeast, for Simi Buns, for Rose BND. Oh boy, here we go. Another ult. Bob Lord is standing still, using his... What? He's flashing forward. Tries to get him in the tower, but it's not enough to actually get the kill. Tried to go for the outplay, but he misplayed a little bit, meaning that... in fact, Shaman K also flashed away from that. Was really well done. Meaning that he still falls in a 1-for-0. I like the idea though. He still went for it, he still tried to make it even, but... And
it almost worked. In fact, he just didn't get the angle on Shaman K because of a very heads-up flash from the Kazakhs, meaning that he got the safety.
I also think he art, so Seth didn't have the possibility to immediately R on the Kha'Zix.
Yeah, yeah, a very nasty bug
Lack
right
of
there.
vision loss.
Steamy Buns starting to make his way towards the Sunfire Aegis, but Air Blindeboom already finished it, in fact. So very far ahead, 15 CS, and is apparently significantly more gold available because of tower plates. Definitely tower plates. That's about 480 gold that Air Blindeboom has over Steamy Buns, and it's a lot of gold.
Bot lane is for the first time in 2 games even.
Yeah.
12 minutes, so no big lead for either of the two ADCs. So it's gonna be interesting how they play around it.
Yeah, we did see the dive already come in once, but it hasn't been like 17,000 times like in the previous 2 games. So Roseby indeed definitely in a better spot on last game.
We all saw what he can do on the Ezreal of damage, so now on a Ashe, maybe he can do something and not getting bopped.
Yeah, he needs to be careful, of course, because there's a lot of people that really want to go. Oh, here we go. The cleanse from Yuli is on time, but it just means that Azrak has a better opportunity to get onto him. But we see a lot of teleports also coming down. Here, Steamybud is already there, but Sign is now... No, it's Zorka, in fact. Very squishy and all on his own. That is an NTP if I've ever seen one. He is dead. Now Azrak looking for the continuation. Very good interruption of the Cyan ultimate. It was not even intentional. Now Shaman K has to disengage. Airblindeboom trying to buy space, but it is going to cost him his life, it looks like, because TSCA Link is continuously engaging. Airblindeboom is now knocked up and taunted, and he's channeling his knockup. In fact, that keeps him alive for a little bit longer, but it's not enough to do enough. Now, we see that in fact the second Drake is now also available for TSCA. Very well played by TSCA and very poorly played by Zorka XL and the rest of the Dutch community team.
Yeah, this is they still have a goal difference though. That's important to notice. Although they are ahead in kills for the first time in
Ever?
a long time, yeah, in a long time, they still have a goal deficit though.
They have a gold deficit, but they have a lot more promising situation right now. Yuli, very strong fighting with Roseby and D, Roseby and Nomana. But yeah, as I was saying, very promising situation. It looks like they're actually able to win a fight right here, and that is very good for TSCA. So, what are we going to see next? We see that Dragon is 420 away. Herald is spawning in 130. So, are we expecting something top lane, mid lane, bot lane? Where are we going?
Yeah, most likely just because no turret is yet fallen, they will just keep the 1-1-2 going and the jungler. So just no swaps at all. Just support roaming. But not much else happening on the map. Sign clapping, the Malphite, but that's it.
Oh boy, here we go. No cleanse available. That means that Yuli is going to get very, very hard CC'd, and in fact he's going to die because Roseby and D has a lot of damage. And Fuzzy's Clee now also in a very rough situation. And we see the bot lane from TSA lane swamping their authority on the lane and getting the 2 kills in a freaking duo lane. Very well played. Shaman K looking for top lane.
We can forget what I said before 15 minutes. No goal, no really kills difference in the bot lane because they're solo killing. Yeah, solo killing. They're 2v2 doing the bot lane. So sure you play it.
In a rough situation, Zorka XL and Shaman K are here. Flash away from Steamy Buns, puts him to safety, but it costs him his flash as well as his tower. Very well played by the DCT to get the first tower in the game. No, second tower in the game because they already had first tower. Oh,
yeah, the Pantheon engage. And that was pretty sad. We all know that when you press R, you think, okay, they're standing on top of it. I will hit it. And then you jump right into it, and then there's no one.
Yeah.
It feels so bad.
They just walked away. Oh, but Finish Plea is still looking for the engage. Onto Rose BD. Rose BD taking a bunch of damage. But Rammus is now rolling in for the turnaround. Yuli flashing forward and gets actually the kill onto Rose BD. But he's going to get slaughtered himself. So a 1-for-1. Interesting how the fight in the bot lane is going back and forth.
The Gale Force power. Who thought ADC? Ooh.
Dashing
that
in.
Jhin would have a dash in season 11. Who would have thought? Apparently in season 11 everything's possible.
Apparently it is, yeah. Now, what Dragon looks like it's going to actually, we didn't even touch upon this yet, but it's an Infernal Soul. Yuli and Zorka XL really need to pick up damage, and in fact Shaman K kind of also needs the same thing. So an Infernal Soul is definitely going to help the Dutch community team, but for that they need to be able to pick them up. We saw last two Drakes handily went the way of TSCA Link because of some very good plays before the Drake happened. So
and then no contest indeed.
Exactly, and then no contest. So is the Dutch community team going to get called out again, or are they going to play by the book as they normally do and try and actually contest this more rigidly?
My guess is that next Drake would be just a heads-on 5v5, no one gets caught. We hope so, and that should be the case. And then we will just see how the armor already evolved.
Yeah,
if enemies, if DCT still can do some damage, if not, if they lose next fight very hard, then that should be game.
Now I want to point out one of the things in itemization, specifically from Ashe. Oh, never mind, Shaman K looking forward. In fact, going for a finish speed, jumping in as well, and he takes the kill onto Rose BND. Now the dragon is spawning in 30 seconds, and Astrobak is also looking to be in a rough position as to flash away. Now that the dragon is spawning in 30 seconds, it means Rose BND is going to be spawning in approximately the same time window, giving the Dutch community team some space to actually wiggle themselves towards the dragon. What I was going to ask you, in fact, looking at the inventory of Ashe, you see a Immortal Shield Bow. Is this the right option in this case?
What else do you want to go? Gale Force.
Gale Force, maybe Kraken Slayer, who knows? Also,
yeah, Kraken Slayer on Ashe is pretty troll, but I think the shield bow is just fine.
The re-engage, knee buns here onto Yuli. Yuli finding it really hard to deal with the Malphite, but he's not alone. Therefore, Malphite falls, and Master Yi on Rebus also unable to get Yuli. Double kill in favor of Zorka XL as he is able to pressure TSCA back. Interesting engage, 4v5 in fact, but it was not enough to get anything done. This means the dragon will go over to DCT.
Yeah, and we're talking about the Ashe itemization, so the shield bow is very good against assassins, so against the Shaman K, his Kha'Zix, or against the engage from Fanny's Police, so just to stay alive. You could go the dash, but I think getting the lifesteal, getting the damage, getting the shield is way more important at this point of the game.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. So
the only question you could have is why did he not go for armor boots and as well on Ashe as well on.
Yeah, I must say I find the Swifties on Rakan a little bit confusing. I agree. I understand the Berserker speed from Ashe though, because Ashe really likes attack speed. So that is like a logical, excusable choice. But yeah, I agree.
Swifties is troll.
Yeah, the Swifties is debatable at best, I think.
Debatable. Okay, yeah. That's a good way to say it.
Definitely. Now we are looking at a top lane play apparently from the Dutch community team as they are rotating Zorka XL and Fanny's Fleet towards the top side. Are they going to look for an early Baron here even? I doubt it, right?
Most likely yes. You see the sign again going to the bot lane with his TP up. So yeah, as we mentioned already a lot of times this series, they play via the book. They play via the rules, and they play as you just should go.
Yeah.
They have the Nashor up, they send their top laner into the bot side, they have their GP, they have their wards, if you look, they have their wards set up all around the Nashor, and they now ping it, so
yeah, let's get a quick tour here. We see wards everywhere. There are some blue wards still available right there, but it's definitely overwhelmingly in favor of the Dutch community team. there's nothing to be seen, and if you look the other way, there's so much vision. And in fact, the Baron, already 21 minutes, tanking a whole bunch of damage, and TCA Link, I'm not even sure if they are aware that this is happening, but in any case, they're not challenging.
Exactly.
Oh, Boblord going in, looking to fight Erblindeboom, but Erblindeboom is a chunky boy, and nothing happens.
Deals no damage, only the shield. Yeah, maybe you should have went for Blade the Rune King though instead.
He went for the Stride Breaker. It gives you a little dash.
Yeah, but is the Stride Breaker the way to go? Certainly if he's going to 1v1 the Scion.
Yeah, I guess. I think the Stride Breaker was the intention of getting onto Zorka XL more reliably, but by the time he finished his item, also the laning phase finished, and the question is, will he ever see Zorka XL again? Now, the Rammus forcing unstoppable onslaught from Erblindeboom, but he just walks out of there. No problem.
Small thing, if you're playing against the Scion, just flash in front of his R, and you get an easy kill, but they did not go for that option. They just send Rammus back into the top lane and try to defend what's still standing for now.
Oh, we see the curtain call, but directly the response from Asarak with the charm onto the entire backline of the Dutch community team. He's being annoying, and it actually is being enough because Rose BND is following up damage after damage. Now Asarak is actually alive, but Master Yeast gets killed, and in fact there's so much damage available for the backside of for the backline of DCT that it's just going to be a quick clean ace. No, not even a clean ace.
It's a full on ace.
Yeah, it's a full on ace. It looked very good for TSCA, but then it all fell apart just as quickly, and in fact it looks like a 24 minute victory here.
This is going to be game.
That is an insane turn of events where it was looking that TSCA was able to hold a stand, they make one misplay, and they lose the game. And in fact, the game freezes even, I can't believe it. They lose the series.
It's too impressive.
Yeah, it is too impressive indeed. So my apologies, I have no clue why, but the spectator likes to freeze now and then. But congratulations to the Dutch community team for taking home this DCA League of Legends Autumn Tourney 2020. Taking home the prize money, the first prize money. As well as all fame, of course, for winning this tournament. Congratulations to DCT.
Yeah, very well played. As we already mentioned a lot of times, they play by the book, they play it clean, they play it consistent, and they punish mistakes very hard. As we saw now, they just ended the game into 23 minutes where nobody expected. They had the game went even until 15 minutes and then it exploded.
Yeah, definitely. I think explosion here is a very good good term to use. Certainly that last turn of events there, where we just kind of thinking that it looked like TSCA was turning a corner to coming back, but apparently it wasn't enough. And yeah, it was just straight at the end of the series, much earlier than we expected, frankly. So
that's it.
Yeah, I was also thinking, is there anything left to say? But not really. That's it. That's the end of the tournament. DCA League of Legends Autumn Tourney. I already mentioned it a few seconds back. 2020 coming to an end. Hard-fought victories all over the place. We started with 11 teams, I believe, in the groups phase. Now only 2 were left in the finals, and only 1 is left after the finals. The Dutch community.
The only thing there is to say for me is, keep on looking for the SEA tournaments. There will be one in spring, somewhere over there. So keep in touch with our website, keep informed, follow us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram. Yeah. We'll see you there.
Definitely. If you're looking for a cool tournament, we're organizing at least one more, a bit longer in April-ish, starting. That will be starting in April-ish. So keep an eye out for our website as well, esportsdelft.nl, esportsdelft.nl. All the information, all the scheduling of all DCA events can be found over there as well. So yeah, definitely stick around. There's going to be a lot of fun. And hey, if you want to give our channel, Twitch channel, a follow, you'll also see a lot of DCA members streaming now and then here and there. Some games they want to stream. So
I do get a question from Julian if we want to have a conversation with one of the winners.
That would be cool. Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
I'm not sure if we can make that work visually.
We can.
Yeah, but,
visually.
Yeah, so that's going to be a little bit rough. So we're going to go. to another screen. Meanwhile, can you start looking who is going to?
Yeah. I'm going for it.
I'm going to. Yeah, so we are quickly looking who we are going to interview in a second with the brief pause. So
just 2 minutes.
Yeah, I'll yeah, give me 2 seconds. I'll put it in a brief pause, and then we'll be back in a few minutes to
have a conversation.
Have a short conversation with the winning team of the Dutch community team. We'll be right back. Okay, welcome back to the post-game interview here with the support of the winning team, Dutch community team. In fact, Funishplee is joining us right now. Hi Funishplee, how are you doing?
Hi there, I'm doing fine.
How are you feeling right now winning this tournament?
Yeah, kind of happy. It's like we really wanted to win. I think we dropped one game. We actually wanted to win everything, of course, but it's fine.
Yeah, dropping one game yesterday against Desia Red. Coming in the tournament, you were actually one of the favorites, seeding as the first seed and that kind of stuff. Do you think you performed according to your the tournament expectations that you would win, or do you think that you made too many mistakes even though you won everything?
I think we made a lot of mistakes, but yeah, we turned it around with a lot of mid-game fights, and we won. Played for many drakes, got a lot of early souls, which is very helpful. So yeah.
So now, oh yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I want to say, in your team, who takes who's in the driving seat? Who makes the calls? Because your team plays very by the book. You go for the objectives at the right time. When you do Barons, top laners go bot.
The thing is, we try to provide vision together. Like, we all know what to do. We have our agreements on that, where to ward, what to do. I myself try to time the neutral objectives, and our jungler is actually like calling where he is, where he's going, what we are going to do, and sometimes we give up objectives, but that's most of the time the plan. So yeah.
Cool. It's very interesting to hear indeed how your the internal structure there in game works. Also, mad kudos, of course, to Shaman K getting a lot of work done in the early game of every single game. Really big presence. In fact, he played the Nunu twice, and then he decided to switch off it, or it got banned out the third game. Is like Nunu his main pick, or are there other picks where he thinks he can be just as effective?
Well, he just likes to be one of the later picks, so he can get a good matchup, and we can play around him. He is not the main Nunu. He plays like saw so many different things. Like last tournament, he was like, "Yeah, let me play Morgana jungle," and we were like, "What the fuck?" But it worked, you know. I
Yeah.
trust him.
Fair. Yeah, definitely. We saw in the Benelux Open Off-Season Invitational, we saw Morgana Jungle definitely working out there, taking some victories and ultimately securing first place in the group. So
Second was it?
was it
Am I
second?
right?
Yeah, we got second place.
Okay. No, okay, my bad then. But still, it was really successful, that specific game. So yeah, it was really interesting to see, and definitely seems to be working very well in general. I'm very impressed by just your general team cohesion and that kind of stuff. So I think unless
I have
Maxime-
still a last question, a burning question.
yeah,
Do
go
you
ahead.
have a tip? Do you have a tip for the people watching if they have a team, how to get cohesion among themselves?
I don't know. It's actually like the way we play kind of happened naturally. Like it's I've been timing objectives like ever since I started playing support. So because I started playing when there were no timers yet, so I had
Yeah.
to time it every time and know
Okay.
to when to get ready. And our jungler just talks a lot, so so it happens naturally.
Yeah. So you're saying just find somebody or find people that naturally fall into the roles that you want in a team, right?
Yeah.
Cool.
Most of the time it's just the jungler and support, what I hear, but sometimes mid laners go a lot as well. I would not recommend ADC or top lane to shot call or whatever, but
Fair enough.
Top lane island.
yeah, kind of.
Fair enough. Well, Finished Speed, thank you so much for your interview. Another time, congratulations to you and your team for taking home the glory here.
Thank you for having me around.
No problem, no
You're welcome.
problem. And yeah, so for all the watchers home, we'll be going to the final end screen of this tournament. We'll definitely be back with more streams and more tournaments for League of Legends content later. So keep an eye out and have a very good holidays, in fact, when you're leaving. So bye-bye.
See ya.